That was insane. I can't wait to talk.
3.5 hours is a perfect length.
It didn't feel like it.
The end of that cell match was so bananas.
Incredible. You could never replicate that ever again.
Probably
that
not.
was the most perfect fucking thing.
Probably
Bring
not.
him in too.
Who? Bring who in?
Bring him in too. Colin.
Oh, Colin wants to come in? Sure. Hold on.
Yeah. You got to change it to.
Yeah, I gotta change it to the thing. We're actually live right now, but give me a second. I'm trying to.
It didn't feel like that
audio.
show was 3.5 hours.
I'm very drunk.
I know you are very drunk, so I'm hopefully you I don't know.
This man was
What
like,
do you hope, huh?
I don't know.
crazy.
You've been fucking with my emotions lately.
I know I have.
I don't like that.
You were so happy. You were so just sitting back and listening to you in the party. You rant about how right you were.
Yeah, no,
I don't know
would.
what you mean.
Yeah, you fuck. I played it up. Anyway, we're actually.
Why do I keep uploading these videos? They're all the same. It's very funny.
Okay, hold on. So we were actually live for a couple minutes. So let me just make sure the audio's fine. For the people who are in the actual chat, let me know how the audio is. Mine should be okay, but we have the steel cage not winner, Colin Locke. We have the OCW champion.
Wow, that's how you introduced the
Yeah,
man?
sorry, I'm upset. I'm upset that he forgot how to fucking climb, but I played it off.
Nah, it was over. The minute Jamie got his leg over, it was wraps.
Yeah, that's the thing. I couldn't have actually done anything. I was pressing loads of buttons.
We'll get to it. All
right,
yeah,
so
there's so much we gotta talk about.
All right,
There's
so
much to unpack of this show, honestly.
There
is.
It was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
I think everybody should be equalized, so I'm double checking that. This is a wonderful start to a podcast. I'm so professional, and I promise this time not to be rude to anybody. So I'm just
that's a lie. That's your natural instinct.
I am just
That's
cognizant.
Bullshit. You don't even know it happens.
I am just cognizant enough not to do the things that I usually do. So anyway, so we have Colin Locke in here. We have the OCW champion El Parker. We have Jake, who is in contract disputes. Jake Allen.
So disappointed.
I'm okay.
And myself.
I'm okay with showing up for a little post-show pod, but for any other obligations,
I don't.
we're gonna have to talk.
Yeah, he's all right here.
Can I be 100% honest real quick before we actually begin? I'm a psychopath.
Don't ask if you can ask.
No, whatever.
You know how I feel about that.
This is your show.
Listen,
this is your house.
So I'm a psychopath, right? So in my head, I always think way about things. I'm like, okay, so Jake hit me up on Monday saying what happened. Like, oh shit. But then in my head, like, wait, maybe he just doesn't want to fucking commentate. But then I saw that he actually has the Rona. I saw he had the Rona because he's not gonna give me like fucking no days notice. So we replaced it or whatever, and we happened. So I was like, okay, well Salami has limited time, so I'm like, let's see what we can do. We got a couple. We got like 6 matches done on Monday, and then and then I told Salami, I'm like, look, we'll see what happens on Wednesday. Maybe if Jake feels better, I'm like, hey man, do you feel? No, I'm coughing and hacking. If you expect me to do commentary, the answer is no. I'm like, I didn't expect that, but okay, I'll go fuck myself. So we finished it up on Wednesday, got everything done, and yeah, it worked out. So the narrative is that I've been burying Salami, which is not true at all. In any sense of the capacity. So I just wanted to clear that.
Ambition lads on top.
He was commentating before Ambition. As a matter of fact, his body of work, he actually has more non-Ambition shows recorded than Ambition until maybe 2 or 3 more shows. Anyway, we're talking about the pay-per-view Chaos Theory, which was a grand experiment by my design, which I assumed would be actually I didn't know what to expect, but Kent I don't know about Jake, but I know Kent expected the worst. Jake probably was like, you did too, right?
I was on the lesser side.
You're like steps.
I was like, all these steps. That's why we rolled multiple times on the Chaos Theory wheel, and we kept coming up singles. And I'm like, keep it. We can't have all these stipulation matches. Bullshit. But we'll get into why
it worked out in the end. So I guess we start off with the OCW World Championship, El Parker versus Danny Watts. I'm gonna be narrator, so I'll just say that I enjoyed it profusely. Watching it back a second time, it actually was pretty high impact. My only thing that got me tight was poor Brian didn't know how to use the ladder, and then when it was time for a wonderful spot, like he was like, I ain't saw that shit. Fuck you, fuck you, Danny. and Danny wound up breaking his teeth. But hey, what are you gonna do? We'll take it to Colin first because he's the first time on the podcast. What do you think, sir?
It was a solid match. It's one of those things. I mean, I'm just gonna be the dude here. I was vocally not really iffy on this story going in because I was like, cause of course Danny getting through after Harris Turner, who should be to the moon, blah blah blah. This match had me nervous. I was really nervous. Like
Good.
Danny put on, and I will say this, dude, Danny put on a fucking hell of a performance, and I really hope that he can actually use this platform to build his character and build stuff going forward, because the dude can play. If the guy got confidence in his stories and his writings, I think we've seen the start of something good today. But I wanna see more. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit more on the other side. Jake Allen, you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it concerns me a little bit because the fear is that this kind of thing will happen, and just like it did last time when he was in Dominion, he'll kind of vanish for a while, and we don't want that to happen. So hopefully the Danny Watch train, which makes logistical sense, like he would start his upward trajectory with a failed title attack, not go here and then just vanish. That doesn't make any sense for him. It makes sense for other people, but which we'll get to in a little bit, but it doesn't make any sense for him to attack El Parka and then just go away. And I know he was there for his match and then he left the viewing party, which I can't stand when people do that. But
Yeah.
but he did do that, and hopefully this isn't a situation where he just says, "Nah, I'm just gonna leave now." And because there's so many other like mid to upper card level people on the roster that he could have fucking sick feuds with. This should be a bounce off platform for Danny Watts. And it works double ways because El Parka, it's his first defense, so it works great there. And the match actually really surprised me. I thought it had a lot of potential to be kind of crazy with the gimmickiness, and it didn't at all. Both of them really played to the story that had been presented to us in the first 4 weeks of the feud, so it worked out.
Brian.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I won't go on the whole tangent, but the quick little backstory is if I would have known. So Danny was in the middle of a move, so to actually like do the feud, it kind of was very quick because obviously the number one contenders match didn't get didn't get booked for too quickly. But then he was in the middle of a move, so it was kind of like, oh shit. So to get the match done was kind of a ball ache, but I was also kind of like, oh fuck, dude, like. I went into that match probably the most nervous I've been in a very long time because I was like, I can't really sit here and lose to Danny because if I lost to Danny, then I to be honest, I heard Jay in my head, don't fuck this up. Don't fuck it up. So I was like, oh, bro. But it came out good. I feel like the match was better when I watched it back compared to when I played it. When I played it, I was just shitting bricks. So, I mean, I do know Danny has zero intention on fucking off. I did literally confirm that with him. I was like, please don't be discouraged that you lost. I was like, at the end of the day, that's your job, is to always lose to me. I'm always here to hold you down. And he said, fuck you, Brian, which of course is the case. But, I'm happy with what it served. But I'd be lying to you if I said I'm not excited for what's coming up next and what's in the future for El Parka.
You said you're not excited.
No, I am. I said I would be lying if I said I wasn't excited that
Gotcha.
I'm, to see what's coming up in the future. Like I'm glad this story was able to be done. I kind of had that credible rival, Danny and Parka. I'm pretty sure overall, me and Danny, I think, have fought the most between one another. I think he's the person I've had the most matches with in OCW. So I had that credible rival, and now it's time to up the ante as we walk into Wembley, England.
Britain. I'm have to book all the British lads. So speaking of England, we have fake England and actually Scotland and England, but really California versus wherever the fuck Colin's from. The Scum Cage. Honestly, for a cage match, was not super duper long, which was surprising. I was utterly shocked about that. Yeah, no, my only concern is fucking Colin. I guess I don't know what couldn't figure it out or whatever the fuck, or lost or technical wise. I'll take it to, we'll go to Jake and then Colin. So Jake and then Colin.
There's nothing.
What? Go
There's
ahead.
nothing. I think,
It's weird to me. I thought you could have got him.
Sure. I think as usual, you grossly misunderstand the video game that we're operating in. So
Rude.
he got hit with a finisher, a big time finisher after being beaten up the entire match, and just couldn't get up. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. He just could not get up. And when he did, there was no time for him to climb the cage and take him down. I actually appreciate the finish because I thought it was going to be very, very samey with Jacob Trance. You know, he's been kind of a veteran who puts over people, you know, on this later chapter of his career. And this time he did not. So Jacob Trance is not going into the ocean to die finally. And it kind of worries me now because I don't know if he's going to show up on Riot next Friday. I don't know if he's going to show up in 2 weeks. I don't know if he's going to show up for Lucian. And that force that looms over us that is Jacob Trance is still around, which is nice. And it's Colin Locke. And now Colin Locke creatively has so many options to go to. He could stick with this dope look that he has now, or he's now locked in this mental cage, this fictional cage that he was when he was stuck in the basement or whatever, you know. So he has a million different directions he could go off onto, and so I think given the people involved, I have no problem with the finish at all. And the match was great. Again, is the game surprising us in terms of a gimmick match being short and succinct and still very entertaining.
Okay, I'll take it to Brian, then Colin, because this was actually Colin's match. So Brian, thoughts?
I was muted. My bad.
It's okay.
The story definitely leading into the pay-per-view was one of the best. Like one of the best non-title associated stories. You know, like we had the constant mind games and honestly, like just torture, war crimes essentially on Colin.
Mm-hmm.
So to see Jacob Trance win, I'm not going to lie, I was not expecting that. I was expecting Colin to go in there, kind of like thrash him and then escape and call it a day. But when Jacob Trance hit that finisher and homie was stunned, I was like, damn, like that's it. Like we're calling it a day. And I'm kind of in the same boat as Jake because now it's like, guys, we have a fucking Jacob Trance that has momentum. Like, who is his next victim? Like, who is this man going after next, you know? But
we haven't had that in 4 years, by the way.
And the thing that I'm most excited for is another thing that Jake said is because Colin, I've never been shy of it. The man has it when it comes to the character and writing. So it's like where he goes from here creatively with his character, I feel like low-key it benefited him more losing than it did to win. You know, like, yeah, of course we wanted that comeuppance for Trance, but it's like, shit, I wouldn't even hate if we seen Jacob Trance versus Colin Locke 2 at Lucian. You know, like a kind of end-all, be-all. Maybe Colin can be the person to finally kill Trance and make him fuck off forever. But good stuff. I loved it.
I thought it was going to happen. I did.
Colin.
I did too.
I'm sure you did too, didn't you, Colin?
Colin, until I fucking slipped. Go ahead.
No, I mean it's what I love about OCW that no other wrestling by design has, right? It's if this was a WWE booking, Colin would have the huge homecoming pop. Well, everyone's happy. He'd beat the villain. All the kids in the crowd would buy fucking Master and Defeat Death T-shirts or whatever, and you would call it a night. Everyone would go home happy, and then their day would be ruined later on when a heel wins or something. But it's not that, and that's kind of what I love about it. It's Colin's now stuck in this cage. He got up after being knocked out to watch Jacob Trance leave that cage, and now he's got to carry that with him. And I've just got to, first of all, just put over Jamie. He's a joy to work with. He's a hell of a player, and it was so much fun doing all the spooky shit in these videos. But yes, it was a nerve-wracking experience because I hope people are with me where I take the story and where I take Colin in future. But it's going to be cool. I really want to see where... Well, I mean, I don't want to see. I know where it's going. But I can't wait to see how everyone react and everyone enjoy how this affects Colin's character. Because I'm over the moon with this, to be honest. I was at first nervous that I lost. Because I was like, I'm stuck in a cage now. This is my life from now on. But, I mean, that's the kind of thing. I suppose Colin's always about adversity, right? You know, being the smaller guy in a bigger picture. So maybe he's got to now focus on his own mental battles while, you know, conquering the bad guys and conquering the bad guys inside. That's what the whole fake Colin thing was, right? It was about him having to face himself as much as he had to face Trance. So, yeah, I think it can go in a really cool direction from here on.
I mean, we still didn't get fake Colin
as
versus
funny
Colin,
as Colin Locke. Wait, not yet. Well, slow down there. But I would say, like, to that point, Colin, to of all like the funny and like just entertaining stuff you do, like the level of depth that you get to with that with the narrative sometimes is something that I think a lot of people should look at, and I don't think a lot of people realize it when they're watching it because they're feeling it, but then afterwards they're like, oh, sock puppets, that. But I have to point out to everybody the whole way through, especially like the biggest one was with Trey in the steel cage. Like that was when I was like, okay, this guy is immediately shifting from this shit's hilarious to this shit is the most serious thing on this card. And it's a talent that I wish I had, but it's incredible that what you do, man.
Oh, no, thank you. I mean, there are so many amazing people here, right? But yeah, with this feud, I definitely wanted to kind of remind people that I'm not just memes and sock puppets.
These meme sock puppets and storage lots.
Storage locker rooms. Yeah, I wish I had
random horror segments.
I wish I had better platitudes when fucking responding, but I'm not gonna harp on what everyone else says. Which is basically to say that I enjoyed it. I don't know how to phrase the nuance of the entire storyline. My only stupid concern is I thought Colin was gonna come back with a shaved head. Am I wrong? Did I miss that? Did I miss that his head was shaved at one point from the thing, or am I just crazy?
No, it was in Trance's dungeon, and I was kind of umming and ahhing about that.
Okay,
but the
good.
way I saw it, he was in the dungeon for a while. Like, it has been nearly 2 months. Canonically, he's been in the dungeon. Okay. So with like the homecoming segment, people were like, "Oh, was it a dream? Was it not a dream?" I wanted to keep it ambiguous. Maybe he has been out for that long and he managed to get a haircut, sort himself out a little bit.
I mean, that was my only thing. I was like,
maybe the entire thing, maybe the entire thing was a dream. Like, it was never a kidnapping. Like, but that's where the intentional ambiguity plays in. It's like the Bateman film. What is it? American Psycho. Yeah, it's like you don't know, and that's what. Yeah, but you don't know if it's a dream or not. So then it plays into how you feel as a viewer between person to person. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Speaking of crazy,
sorry,
it's okay. We're going to Terra de Turris versus La Mujer Obscura. So I usually give the person who's involved in it last, but let's try to remix it and put that person first for the sake of it.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, indeed. Jake Allen. Actually, before you go in there, the match was. I like the fact that it just off rip. It was like, I'm gonna fuck you up. So as soon as Mohair was pontificating on the outside, Terra ran out to go whoop some ass, and Mohair was like, nah, B, and then they just start scrabbling on the outside. I enjoyed that. The actual match was really hard hitting and competitive, and that's pretty much what you want. It was dictating the brutality of Falls County, even though there really wasn't many falls on the outside, a couple, one or two, but I think it relayed the intensity of the not the rivalry, but the what the hell is the word I'm looking for when you want to whoop someone's ass because they did somebody else wrong? I don't know, revenge, vengeance, kiss a hold on. Anyway, Jake, it's your shit, so go ahead, talk about your baby.
Yeah, the crux of the whole thing was about the change in Terra based on what we saw in season 16, especially 2021, with all of the way that she reacted to the negativity that came her way. And now this time it was kind of like a resistance to react in that same way because of how Sue has affected her positively. And then this was, I think, one of the more RP text-based feuds that I have been a part of, this one here, because most of what we did was in text form, in promo form, instead of in videos. And the major one was the last RP that we did, where Sue kind of found herself again and found her confidence and gave kind of that nod to say, sometimes it's okay to just, go crazy and fuck the bitch up. And so that was kind of the crux of where when Mohair was coming out second, Terra wanted to take the fight to her and become kind of try and find a middle ground between the Terra that was burning down ice trucks and spitting mist in people's faces and the new one that is now, good and tries to, hold all that inside. And the match, it was with Muhera, so it was always going to be good, I think. It was great. We explored the whole space, false count anywhere. It kind of reminded me of the Lucian match with Valkyrie last year, which was also false count anywhere, but it also ended in the ring. And that's more of the, like, it's false count anywhere, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a pin in the crowd. Like, the space was explored, so all of the gimmick stuff was put in without necessarily making it predictable. And it was competitive. That's like Colin said, that's OCW, man. Whatever happens, happens. And the ending was very satisfying. And turns out that the ending was just as satisfying with the victory as it would have been otherwise.
You trying to steal Marissa's thunder? Ain't that some shit? I gotta run real quick to reload my drink. So we'll go to Brian, and when Brian's done, go to Colin, and I'll be right back.
Ace.
Brian.
So
Yes.
yeah, okay. Hello. Okay. So
Hello?
Hello. Sorry. So
Is this thing on?
something that I'm really glad that Jake said is how that feud, in my opinion, is going to be a textbook example of what like an OCW feud is, because they didn't do all, like, not saying that you have to or that people should be expected of it, but it's like it was all writing. It was all fucking phenomenal promos that were written by multiple people. And you really got to see, for those that read the web show, the true experience of OCW, which is written promos and then player versus player on a wrestling game. So, you know, to see that, that was my favorite story going into Chaos Theory. I loved the Tara promos that Jake was writing. The one where Tara had that complete freak out. I think it was Riot, where whatever the fuck happened, and, you know, she attacked someone innocent, and, you know, like Muhera and all the Christianity mind games, like that was just so much fucking beautifulness. And to see that, you know, Tara won, like, not only was it like textbook OCW feud, but in my mind, it was like textbook wrestling feud, because the babyface won. We got this ultra feel-good moment that Tara finally, like, kind of conquered that demon in Christianity and La Muhera. But also, it's like, bro, like, you're engaged now. Like, damn, what an ending. It was phenomenal. Jake, I love you. Great work, man. And I'm not going to compliment Jamie, because fuck Jamie.
Well, I feel like, and just before Colin says anything, I think that the major part for me as I was writing it and developing it is the juxtaposition between, this is the first major storyline for Tara as she went from the evil side and transitioning from heel to face. And the first part that hits her is this conflicted, are we babyface? Are we heel? We think we're babyface, but we're actually heel. So it was like she was facing the actual thing she was for a year plus. And then that conquering that and moving on to the other side was very, very poetic to me.
Chef's kiss.
Go ahead, Colin.
Colin.
Yeah. No, honestly, I mean, I can only echo that. I mean, writing's my bread and butter, right? It's what I love to do, and it's what I kind of started off here in the first place. So I love reading good, you know, writing stuff. You know, videos, loads of fun, loads of stuff, but this feud really took OCW down to its core for me. Really kind of outlined what it is to be here, right? You know, what possibilities you can do, what kind of characters you can explore. And the one thing I'll really, really put over is, I think a lot of people, when they're writing characters, they like to kind of get in their own heads about, oh, my character's a real character, you know, it's not like a wrestling character, it's, yeah, they behave like a real person. This shows how you can do both. The match was very obviously good guy, bad guy, they fight, things happen. But the subtlety from both sides, right, from both the Castellanity side and the Terra and Sue side, that was what made it, and that's what made these characters have, I think, such momentum going after this, right? It was awesome to read what Sue was all about and what she was going through. And Terra, since I got here, man, Terra's been one of my favourite characters overall. So it's it was really nice to see her, as Jake said, actually, sort of go back into how she was in a way, but balance that out with how she became after meeting Sue to find this middle ground. And I don't know, for me, everything was so clear in the writing. It's a masterclass of how you should do shit here. So, unbelievably well done. And the match was really cool too, so a thumbs up all round from me.
You can't use the word masterclass, because then people get gassed and think that they shit don't stink. I'm just kidding. It was a really well told story, and I wish I could be more verbose and explanatory about it. But unlike Jake, when I'm into the wind, my brain don't really function that well. It doesn't even function half the time when I'm actually not sober. So I mean, when I am sober. So hey, what are you gonna do? All right. So next bit, unless we have anything else to add regarding that match, we have I believe it's a tables match, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the tables match between Just Derek and Big Daddy D. Very simple premise. I'll take it to
Just Derek and Big Daddy D.
Yeah,
Lol.
just Derek.
Everyone's got a double this season.
Wow, I did say that, didn't I? You know what? Fuck
Yeah,
you.
you did. You
I
did.
don't give a shit. You know what? Fuck, you know
Big
what?
Daddy
Fuck-
Reese.
Fuck Derek for that, because that was given to him on a McMahon type level, and everyone's like, "Ooh, that's stupid."
Well,
Fuck
well, it
y'all.
was.
No, we're not gonna talk. We're not gonna
Big
discuss
Daddy
that.
D was great.
No,
before
it
he was
wasn't.
going to try and compete
Everyone
for a
shit
title.
on it.
You
Everyone
just
shit
said
on
it
it.
wasn't great.
No, I
You
said it
just
was great.
Your own thing wasn't great.
No.
It was great before he was going for a title. The minute you try and go for a title, why do you want my man named like a sex pest? Back to the action. Do what you got to say about the thing, Jay.
That's not how that works. I said that y'all
I know it's
turned
not.
it. Y'all turned it on because y'all disgusting.
It was
Anyway,
mainly Max who started it first.
Was it Max too? You son of that
Yeah,
son of a bitch.
it was Max who started saying it wasn't good.
Piece
I was
of
all
shit.
for it.
And then
But
you
then
like
he went
Max
for a
said it wasn't
title.
good, so no. But actually,
Nah,
honestly,
he went for a title, and I came to my senses and was like, you know what, fuck, man, this is terrible.
whatever. Anyway,
I would've preferred Derek
despite that disrespect, should remove his store from the shop. His shirt from the shop. Yeah, no, I didn't hate the match at all. The build made perfect sense. It was very simple. I think someone thought that they had a number one contendership match. I don't know, whatever. Long story short, I enjoyed the match. The match was actually good. The only problem I had with the match I discussed already in Discord. Why the fuck is it 20 kilobytes, whatever, 20,000 kilobytes, and then almost 3 gigs, and then it looks like something that came out of my iPhone? Why?
So Derek took it. How I think, and I'm just assuming because I had explained this to him earlier. I'm pretty sure Derek recorded the match on his PS4, which is standard. But then I think he downloaded it, like he uploaded it to YouTube, downloaded it from YouTube, and then edited everything in together. He didn't. The way that you do it with PS4 is you record it internally, you put a USB on, inside your console, then you copy it over, and then you use the USB into your computer, and you're good. But I don't think he did that. I think he uploaded it to YouTube, and then YouTube downgraded it.
Okay, that being said, why the fuck isn't the legend working? You know what? Let me not turn this into a tirade. Anyway,
Don't turn it to a shoot.
The match itself, I enjoyed, and I wish if it was actually clear, it would have been higher up on the card. All I'm gonna say regarding the actual bullshit on the video is, if anyone has the audacity to submit something like that for Lucian, it will not be used, period. Que sera, sera. Jake, you're the more positive person. I take it to you. What did you think about the match? I enjoyed the match, but yeah, what did you think about it?
I think it was great. I think it was funny to joke about the quality at the beginning, but then to like harken on it for first 5 minutes was overdoing it. The whole like, why isn't Jamie doing the match? Like, I think at a certain point we need to tell other people other than the 5 to 15 that we know how to edit stuff. We need to teach other people how to do shit, because there will come a time where the 15 that know how to do it won't be here. So the other people need to know how to do stuff. So this may have been his first chance. It sucks that it was on a pay-per-view. I don't think it was that bad. I mean, it was a shitty quality and it was really high, but I don't really know what happened with it. I used to upload to YouTube and download straight there. It never looked that bad. But if it's his first attempt, it is what it is. I didn't think it really harmed the quality of the match that bad. I don't think it's worth spending that much time on. The biggest part of this match was at the end. They were really fucked by the table and how it was set up. I don't know if the game works the same as it did in 2K19, where you have to like fill the meter or whatever. But the ending sequence was awesome.
Yes.
Because both of them at that, like Mark Reese, we thought he had it. He should have had it. But then after that, when both of them had a finisher, they like went back and forth with breakers and mid moves and reversals and dodges, and they just kept going over and over. And then the final sudden ending with the Northern Light suplex was, I thought, really awesome on the outside. I thought it would have been really easy for them to pick that table up, slide it in the ring, and say, let's reposition this and try a different way. But they didn't, and they went for it where it was, and I thought it was really good. As far as the editing stuff goes, just learn from your mistakes and get better. Yeah, and like you said, Jay, please don't submit a match like that for Lucian. Quality-wise, if you see that it's bad quality, you should be rewatching your matches. Then try and fix it. I don't know.
It's more or less the conundrum of how it was so big, and how, like, at least Spider's shit, when Spider submits his garbage, it'll be like, like 19 frames, and it'll be like 100 megs. So it's like, you're an idiot. This one was big and dumb. But anyway, Colin, your thoughts on the actual match?
Well, it's a tables match, and of course, the physics in this game are fundamentally broken.
Oh my god, yeah.
I mean, but I will give them credit. They did quite a lot of stuff with it, and yeah, while there wasn't a big table spot to end the match, I think the fact that it came out of nowhere and it's a huge shock from a load of reversals, I think that's the best thing we could have hoped for. Felt like an earned win after both guys had hit their finisher, rather than like a bullshit win, right? Because I think it would have been a bit crap if Derek's first title win would have been like RNG bullshit, and
Yes.
on the other hand, if he got fucked over and Mark Reese just hit it out of nowhere and you had a sudden death table or whatever in 5 minutes, it would have been disappointing. So I think this is the best a tables match could have been without being overly choreographed. So I'm pretty high on it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't bad in any stretch of the imagination. Again, I'm just surprised. Like, we're already on this, like, the fourth match, and it's already, you know, like, everyone managed to. The overall theme is everyone managed not to fuck up their steps. Like, everyone thought it was gonna be a shit show, and I was like, oh no, it'll be fine, and it turned out to be fine. So go figure with that. El Brian, your thoughts?
I was extremely disappointed. I was so disappointed. I was screaming for Derek when he hit that Future Endeavored, and right near the ending sequence, I literally was screaming at my phone because he kept doing moves that Jamie kept mid-moving, and I was just like, please, just switch it, do something different. And then the Northern Lights happened, and, you know, Reese got that unexpected W. But, you know, for something that I'm not going to get too snarky about it, but something that we've seen earlier in the Discord about character work, Derek has, in miles ahead, been doing so much better with his actual character and developing who Derek Smith is with this feud and with the build-up. You know, we've seen him on a nice hot streak. He had a couple of victories, and, you know, his first big singles title match, you know, he comes up short, but now I'm hoping that he takes that and he uses that even more for growth, because, you know, it's like, obviously we are seeing that Mark Reese is wanting to turn it into the Big Lads International title. So I could only imagine if Reese holds on to that title long enough, we could possibly see Reese versus Derek too. So all in all, it was a very good story. And although I was very heartbroken by the finish, the match was awesome for what it was.
It's a Danny Parker affiliate, right? In that storyline sense, where you hope that this is more of a launch off point. I mean, me anyway. I'm happy to see Mark Reese defend there. I want him to be a dominant champion, but it's an affiliate in the sense that you want the challenger to let this be their launch pad, because the directions they can go right now are limitless, because they're kind of like, they were both playing the babyface at this point, so they can really take it to the next level with the babyface, or they can shift back and really nail home a heel turn. So I just hope that they stick with it and they don't disappear. That's all I want.
I think that's
100%.
kind of the best thing with challengers. And again, I think the same thing with Danny Watt's situation. I think in a month or two's time, when Lucian's done and we've got all that, we'll see these matches for like how good they were in hindsight as springboards and what they did with it. Because I agree. I think Derek's got a lot to build on, and I hope he does, because he's a big meaty boy. You've always got a place on the card for someone of that size.
100%.
A big meaty boy. Are we talking about any kind of promos at all, or are we gonna? Not promos, video promos. I think we should.
Fuck Asu for returning.
Oh, we have Asu coming. So we have Asu coming back. But we'll take it to Colin. Thoughts on Asu coming back?
Asu's great. I love him. But I always find it funny that whenever he comes back, people are like, who is it? Who's this guy? Because he's in like a different mask or a different outfit or something. So I remember when he came back with no mask on, they were like, what's going on? What's happening? But no, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does, because you got Rust, who's a big player. You got La Mahera, who's in Castellancy, which is going to have a big reign of terror. So I want to see what place Isu takes on the card, and you know what kind of he gets up to. Because you got Gonzalo as well. Rust is going to be a fucking busy dude. I want to. Where's this guy going to be? I'm intrigued.
Very much so. Jake Allen.
I've never, you and I both know this, Jason Sensation. I had never, ever given a shit about the handler bullshit, as long as the character on my screen is putting in good work and entertaining me every single week. Because when I sit down on a Friday, all life that has taken me down, when I've just been tackled by work and life and all that, I don't want to sit here and think about oh, I don't care about this story because this guy's the handler. No, he's putting in the work.
Mhm.
Oh,
He's
God.
entertaining
Yeah.
me. I don't give a fuck. And that's what Isu has been doing, and that's what all of Rust has been doing. So he is a welcome addition to this new era of OCW.
So just
Oh, 100%.
just a quick sidebar. I conflating the way I feel about alternative characters, but we'll just leave it at that. It's not a knock on them. It's just Brian.
Surprised no one brought up how Asu came back and he didn't just want like some small challenge. Dude literally called out Marcus McMichaels. Like, that's some
You're right.
balls. Like, you're calling out a dude who just took his first singles loss. So like that right there is going to be character work that to go back on the little, not in a bad way, but the little snarkiness that Jake said about, you know, handlers having more people, like that right there, Harvey can use that first loss and now this Asu call out. Like, fuck me, the Marcus character work that can be brewed off of just that alone is going to be amazing. So it's like, yeah, Asu coming back, while me personally, fuck him. He's an asshole, awful guy. He could have helped me not lose international title, but absolutely, I want him back. That's a great hand, and that's a great character. So I want to see if Marcus is going to accept that challenge.
When you call someone a good hand, it's considered an insult by many. What was the other pro? Wait, there was another promo in the meantime, right? It was, I believe,
Claudio?
No,
you
no.
know the order. We don't.
Oh
I got
yeah,
news for you.
I would know the order roughly, but I guess we could just jump around. The next one I believe was the petals and the forest for the trees and whatnot.
Yeah.
So Kent thinks he
We
knows.
covered both of these, I think. I
Some
think we
peop-
covered both
did
of these
we?
now.
I don't think we did.
No, we could. I think we can cover both of these now.
Sure, let's cover them together.
comes out.
Gui. So for some reason, I think Mike thought it was a white guy, which is not. It's not a white guy, but okay. I know what's
KD
happening.
said that.
Oh, K. Well, I don't. You know, KD's Kelvin's Kelvin. He has Rona, so his brain don't work right. You know, I kind of know where it's going, so I'm excited as someone who's an old head. Kent is seemingly semi-relevant but confused. I think Jake might know. Yeah.
I do know.
So you would do right. Yeah, you did balance the law. So yeah. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens. Very excited. I actually like that the Hitogui debut, I guess, the visual aspect of it. So that was nice. That was very nice because I've never seen that entrance before. I didn't even know it was in the fucking game because I don't play the game like that. So that was fun to see. And basically, it's very dark. Very, very. The overall theme is incredibly dark, and it's a little uncomfortable about the whole, you know. I'm not gonna say the H word here because I don't know what Twitch does, but yeah, about that and the cannibal shit, and you know, Mateo's a carnivore, but this is some real cannibal shit. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens. You know, and then again, everyone expected today was a day, and it wasn't. Got to keep them long, and that's the way you do it in wrestling. You keep people, waiting. I love it. Everyone's like, what the fuck? But yeah, that's how it is in wrestling. Instant gratification. That's how you can tell a pro from a novice. We'll take it to Colin.
Yeah. I'm the newest here, so I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea what's going on or what any of this is about. But no, I think you're right. It's kind of they could have revealed what's going on today, but they didn't. And I think I know that gets me more excited. I want to tune in and figure out what happens next. Because if they would have just been like petals and it's this person, I'd be like, great. I have no idea who this is or their background.
Well,
but I'm now excited and ready to just see what's going on. I'm buying into it. So yeah, cool.
The history, before we go to Brian, the history of the petals is that petals have been used in the past. That's the first thing. The second thing is I'm not spoiling anything, but more recently petals have been used by somebody who the current generation knows. A few people yelled it out, but I don't think they're correct. So that's the fun part about wrestling. You just got to figure shit out. I'll just leave it at that. There was an actual argument regarding the petals, and that made me laugh. Brian.
Yeah. So I had assumed, and I assumed it was M at first, but then the cannibal, like that one video came out, and immediately when I seen it, I was like, okay, this is not her. Or if it was, damn, you're going really dark with it. But I don't hate it. And then when the dude came out and cut the H-bomb promo, I'm not gonna say the second person that I assumed it was gonna be, just in the off chance that who it is or whatever. But I'm really excited to see where it goes, because part of me is curious to see like when exactly, like, I guess the grand reveal would be of like who or what or like how many or whatever, because it's like, are we going to wait until Lucian? Like, are we going to do a dead ass real slow burn of like hinting? Because I think they had been doing hints in written and video stuff, I want to say almost since the first or second show back. So,
Yep,
you're
correct.
Thank you. I try to be active and over-informed, but at times my brain can't keep all of it. But, it was something new and fresh to OCW for the new generation. Obviously, I have some of the old heads that can tell me stuff, but I usually just say, fuck off. I want to not know about it. But I'm curious to see where the direction goes. I put my foot in my mouth like twice when I assumed who it was going to be, and I was wrong both times.
I'm not gonna lie though.
Go ahead, Colin.
I've got to be honest. When the dude came out the ring and he talks about an eating machine, I was like, oh, it's Imp. She's gonna come out in a gingerbread dress. She just loves cake. She's not been
so
cutting weight
funny.
at all. She's been eating all the cake, all the gingerbread, all the biscuits.
I thought it was Malu. I thought it was going to be Malu. Like, oh, eating machine. We're going to unleash him onto the world. Like, oh, dude, money. This is Malu. He's coming back. No one comes out. Oh, okay, fuck me.
Yeah.
That's the beauty.
We'll find out.
That's the beauty of
I am
like
a big
wrestling.
fan.
What?
I am a big fan of keeping us in suspense with Gui. And when people are like, wait, who is this? I'm like, well, no, we already knew who this was. That's when I knew it wasn't the reveal. Because when this guy came out, I was like, what is this? Because we had only seen this person in text form, so obviously we didn't know. But when his name card came up, I was like, oh, okay. We knew who this is. Like, we've seen him in promos. We know that this is not the big reveal. I thought this was going to be the catalyst for it. And this is very interesting to me. Because I think a key point here is, and trying not to spoil anything, is you have to try and captivate the people you know are going to know who you are, and the people the new fans who you definitely know are not going to have any idea who the fuck you are. You have to try and do both. And I've run into that myself a couple of times, like people who have no idea what you're referencing, but you're also trying to captivate them at the same time. And I think this has done a very good job because they're seeing the pedals, and it's more than just like, oh, pedals, it's Empress, because it's more interesting than that. They're introducing a lot of different elements, and a lot of it has to do with text because their videos are just pedals, but a lot of it has to do with a lot of the references they're making in text. And even I am not super fully informed. I know who it is, but I don't know. I do know who it is. I do know who it is, but I don't know to what extent they're going to utilize this. Like, I don't know if it's a return. I don't know if they're going to push it into like a different character. That's what's interesting to me, and that's what's they're doing very well, in my opinion.
I just find it funny that me and Ken just go giddy for it. The other promo that we're gonna touch on.
That's the only reason I know, really.
The other promo we're gonna touch on is well, Mystery Man no longer, because I guess it was revealed via like
It's good, yeah.
C-Note,
yeah, C-Note, which reminds me of Smite. Is that Smite? I swear to God, it might just be Smite just chilling in the background. But either way,
Smite alt.
CC, right? It might be Ron Portman #2. No, but C-Note's Mystery Man video. He's booked next week, right? I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
Okay.
He is, yeah.
I dug it. It's, I like the fact when someone comes here and they try, because a lot of people, we've had, like I said, we've had about 30 or so plus signups, and then of those 30, maybe half, less than half, actually got through the process of actually getting in, and then from that, less than half actually on a show. I can count it on my hand. It's like Henry. It's Henry. It's the what's
Tristan.
his face? Near Yoha, Tristan, and I think that's it. It might be more. I might be missing somebody.
Quan is still here.
I mean, I guess, and but
has he written anything?
Doing anything? So they're gonna leave. But that's like OCW, and that's why this is so important. Like you're saying, Jay, this is crazy to put this on a pay-per-view. It's awesome.
No, I tell people, I think I actually, because what I do is a lot of times I try to speak to people and tell them, hey, don't listen to anybody but me because I'm the smartest. But I tell them, I'm like, look, if you want to make an impact, you can probably do a video on a pay-per-view, or, that might be good. That'd probably be the best thing. But if you want to write or do something on a pay-per-view, that's the time you get the most eyes on you. And ergo, we got some eyes on C-Note. So it's going to be interesting to see how that character develops. And, hopefully the meat grinder doesn't fucking grind the kid out. So I guess we'll find out. I don't know. Moving on, the next match I believe is it British Rules? Is it British
Yes.
rules? Okay.
Yeah, I think it might be.
Again, man. You just take us down this journey.
I am
man.
inebriated out of my ass. I'm trying very hard to be polite, so I don't know. So we're on British rules, and it's Owen versus Court Martial. So shout out to Owen himself, because he pitched the idea, because I asked people, hey, what do you want for your match? And what some ideas. So he gave me one. He said British rules. I was like, oh, well, elaborate on it. He elaborated on it. I was like, okay, this is not bad at all. So he elaborated on it, and then he when he was done, he submitted the video. He mentioned the thing about it did Max. It very much did. He mentioned about potentially a draw, and he would provide different versions depending on what happened. Like, that's cool. So when he submitted the video, a lot of stuff you saw there, I put on at the end, because I don't know if he forgot. He did put in the Jake and me, and to his credit, when I told him that that wouldn't be the case, like, well, do you want me to re-record something? Like, don't worry about it. I'll just play it off, because don't have to do extra work at last minute. Fuck it. But shout out to him for putting that up. In the future, when we do these, if we do these, I think we got to get some timers in, because I'm the one that did the timers, and I'm the one that did the round shit, because I was kind of lost when it was happening. Wait a minute, oh shit, it's us. Is this round one? Fuck, I'm confused. So I cleaned it up that way to make it a better viewing experience for the people watching. I wanted to do some extra stuff, and I'm putting myself over, because fuck it, I want to do that. In the future we can probably do some fancy stuff like tailor tapes and whatnot, but it did, on second viewing, it did work out really good. And with the added additions of everything to put stuff in the contest, it was really exciting, and it was really well put together. And a shout out to Owen and Court for making this match work. I'm sure if we do it in the future, which we probably will, we can just clean it up a little bit. But yeah, this is an example of something that might not be traditionally viewed properly in the player versus player competitive sphere, but it worked out to perfection. It wasn't even that long. After entrances, it was about 15, which is what I want. I said make it 15, don't make it too long. And entrances about 3 minutes, and it was about 15 even. So it was a fun match. I enjoyed the fuck out of it. We'll take it to the real British person. We'll go to Colin first.
Honestly, I think this, for me, on the show was the example of the stipulation actually elevating things, right? I mean, stipulations are fun and random, but there's always an element of, I wish it could have been a singles match that's, fair play and 100% either way.
Yeah.
But here you've got Owen, who's a very good player, but he's obviously still a bit rough around the edges, still finding his feet and stuff. And Court, who I think is trying to get a sense of how to play Court in this new system that's more fighting gamey and less strategy.
He was still trying to figure out how to play Court at the end of 2K19.
Well, I never fought Court, so I can't comment on that. But yeah, I think this was a great way of. It was almost like a quasi reset thing, right? It's a good way of making distance between the two, so everyone's got time to refresh, reset, and reconfigure in that way. And it made the match better. It kind of let them both show themselves in their best light. Yeah, I think Owen showed off a little bit more stuff than he usually does, which was really cool. Court stayed in it to the end. I thought he was going to take it till the bitter end and take it to decision, but he didn't.
Thank God.
Big win for Owen. I'm really happy with the match. And it's like I said in the voice chat, I want to do one. It's one of those matches that you see and you're like, I want to do that, rather than the old God, I hope I never get given this stipulation. Kill me.
It's not bad. Like, honestly, when he explained it to me, I was like, okay. Like, I don't know how you would even the best I can think of is you put the timer on for 3 minutes, and then once you get to 3 minutes, you're like, hey, break up. Because they had maybe out of the 6 rounds, they had maybe one official go to your corners. For the most part, it was just like, shit, and then they would cut. But that's what happens. It's comp, so that's how you know it's actual comp and not let us do this. But it really worked out fucking well. Like, it built anticipation. Every round, and then I'm thinking in my head, people are like, oh, well, all right, Court's ahead, Owen's ahead. In my head, I'm like, yo, if this goes to decision, I'm just going to give it to Owen, because I think Owen did the thing, and I would have been wrong, because people are like, oh, Court has round 2 and 3. I was like, wait, he did? Fuck, oh, please don't go to decision. I would have, and then it would have been mad at us, like, oh, y'all fucked on Court, the decision, the judges, the rule. Thank God it didn't. Brian, you're up.
Have you ever watched NXT UK?
No. No,
So
I watched
basically
Walter and Dragu. That's it. Dragunov.
Basically, the match is inspiration from Heritage Rules.
Okay.
It's a very long-standing thing that they've done in British wrestling, and hopefully Owen doesn't punch me in the face for peeking behind the curtain on that. But so that the only like two big, I guess you could say, gripes over the match is I wish both Court and Owen would have gone for their signatures and their finishers sooner. At times, it kind of felt like they were artificially trying to carry on the match. While the match was very fun, I was also sitting there at times like, damn, bro, like, I want to see, like, are you going to be able to hit these big moves, or are you just trying to drag it out? And then the second thing was the kind of, like, display behind it. Like, I thought it would have been cool if you would have had, like, a little bit kind of like the UFC, where, like, the UFC, you can see, like, round 1 out of, like, 5 or 3, and then obviously like a more proper timer instead of a stopwatch. But as Colin said, it's one of those stipulations that absolutely elevated the match and was a perfect stipulation for both of those guys, because not only do you have to pin, submit, or knock somebody out, but
no,
you
can't
do it twice.
If you knock somebody out, you're disqualified. Match is over.
Oh, okay. Well, then you have to pin or submit them twice, or if you get KO'd, then you're fucked. But it was a very awesome match. And I do hope that when/if it's used again as a gatekeeper, I hope it's more of like British / like European wrestlers that are in it, and not just like 2 Americans.
Shit.
So that's just me being random.
At this point, I might even, if we maybe at the end of the summer, maybe I'll fucking do like a British whatever fucking pay-per-view. I swear to God, I didn't hate it. We'll probably have to modify some shit, like modify some things to make it maybe like, I understand why it's 6 rounds, but I'd probably make it a little bit shorter. But yeah, I dug it. Jake, your thoughts?
I don't think I'd make it shorter. I think 6 was perfect. Your editing and everybody's collaboration on the project was, excellent. Turning what I thought was like capable of being the wackiest stip into one of the best matches on the card. I would say probably 3rd best match on the card. It was incredible. And then these two characters were the perfect people to have in this, not just with their story leading up to it, all of the build, but like they had one physical encounter backstage, which is very atypical for wrestling. Like you get a bunch of backstage attacks or like post-match attacks or whatever. This was all respect, it was all honor.
Yeah.
And then they had the one time backstage, and it was like Court punched Owen, and it was like, oh my God.
Oh, he didn't,
because
they
just withheld it. He pile drived him on the concrete, but like it was like, what I mean by that is like they withheld it for this story, which has been going on for months and months and months. They had one interaction, and that one thing just felt like the biggest deal. So this match was the perfect job, and all the editing and everything made it very important. It was a huge win for Owen, as Colin said. And now both of these guys have the opportunity to go forward and do more interesting shit with anybody who locks up with Owen or Court down the line as we head into Lucian season should consider themselves lucky.
My last little bit on this is that, don't tell him I said this, but Court really can't do no wrong. Like, he is the quintessential like prototype of what I think an E wrestler should be. He tries to play to his strengths, and although he has those weird choke out moments or whatever, he knows his character. His writing is just, it's to the point. I love his writing. I hate that I admit that, but it is. I've always put him over that in that aspect. He reminds me of like a Diet Dupree in the sense that I know how his character thinks, reacts, and feels. So I always feel like the promos he writes. So shout out to Court on that. That was a fucking great fucking contest, and I did not expect it to be as good as it did. Moving along, I think we're at the Elimination Chamber tag match. Holy shit, the fact that got done is kudos and surprising. So all I'll say about that is I can't. I hate that this fucking bald guy is now the 2-on-1 king, but hey, K Sarah, we will take it. I guess we'll go to Colin first. What do you think about the chamber?
This match really excited me because, I mean, I'm not going to lie, Cutlass were one of my favourite things with the screaming parrot and all the Disney stuff. I missed that VC and I regretted that because I was on my phone in Cyprus at the time just looking at the show. I was like, I wish I'd seen this fucking metal parrot live.
It was for you, man. It was all for you.
And I missed it. It's disappointing. But no, I'm conflicted on this because I loved the match on the whole. There was so much cool stuff happening, and it injected this degree of randomness that I don't think that I don't think the tag division's had in a fair while, really. Because, I mean, it splits up the tag guys. I like it. It's cool. Yeah, the ending. I wish Cutlass could have done it. That would have, for me, made it so awesome and so top tier. But yeah, Sanctum are great champs. But the thing I'm kind of thinking, and I know Parker, you're gonna do a lot of good stuff because you're very experienced with tags. But it kind of has left me thinking, well, what now? James Fraser's jobbed out two very credible competitors, 2-on-1. What, you know, who can possibly step up now?
I can't wait till I can have my rebuttal.
I want to see that story unfold, but I'm kind of here like, is this going to be a reign of terror that ends in an anticlimax? But that's me and my hang-ups, so I'll pass it on.
Jake?
One of my least favorite things in wrestling fandom is jobbed out. Jobbing. He jobbed.
I'm sorry.
He did the job. This guy jobbed. Because it just completely throws to the side every other piece of nuance that there is with wrestling, or like, especially in an elimination chamber, one of the most volatile states that there are, at least as long as you're committing yourself to the universe. A lot of wrestling fans don't commit themselves to the universe. They walk into it saying, you know, this is this and this is fake and whatever, and that defeats the whole purpose. So just off the bat, committing your ending to this as like, this guy jobbed or this guy did this, that takes me out of it. But
yeah, sorry.
I will say that the match, no, you don't need to apologize. That's just how people feel sometimes. But that, you know, coming into the match, I am glad we got it done in one take, because I hate redos.
Yay.
We got it done in one. I'll tell you right now, one take, and we all were able to coordinate the entrance number, and they worked perfectly according to the go home angle that we put together.
Until you fucked up the video. I'm just
Baxter
kidding.
Winning.
When fucking
There was no.
No, it showed Cobra. Remember? It didn't cover the thing.
Oh, right. No, the lower thirds, whatever. No, I'm talking about in the match, people coming out when they were supposed to come out. That worked. First time, we only recorded it once, and I'll say, like, towards like one of my favorite parts of the match watching back was Frazier and Talos. They started big meaty men, and throughout the match it reminded me of Quartz and Rust in the chamber at Lucian, where like no matter how many people came into the match, those two were so connected. They just kept fighting the whole time, and that was how Talos and Frazier were, and that was fun. Frazier has always been like he's been the veteran here, so he's like always shouldering the load. I didn't really have a problem with the ending as a viewer. I was not going to be the guy who's going to sit there and just keep hammering people while they're trying to do moves. I thought that's lame. If he is able to reverse and get a move off and do that, that's it. So there's a section in there where he hits a power bomb on Carmine, immediately reverses an attempted attack. We didn't give him any there was no resets. He power bombs him, immediately reverses Baxter, hits him with a move, picks up Carmine, reverses him. It's like over and over and over. And it's like, at that point, if you're going to continue to competitively dominate two people, that's just what it is, man. And he did that, and like the so many of the moments, like especially the Baxter jumping off the top of the chamber, like with Carmine going like, come on, do it. Like there was so many cool moments that I just wasn't miffed about it. And like Cutlass has so much in front of them that it's really not, I'm not really worried about it. Sanctum is such a great team. I don't know what Dead Zone gonna do, but I don't think it really compromises the future of any tag division. I think any of these teams could come back on next Friday's Turmoil and say like, you know what? That was an elimination chamber. It was volatile. It was crazy. Let's do this for real. And they could do it on TV show or whatever. And I'll just, before I pass it over to Brian, we'll take the moment to say my good friend Bax is not around. She's in the hospital right now. So please put all your best wishes out. Please put all your best wishes out to her.
Love you, Bax.
She's always in the viewing parties and everything. I was repping Cutlass today. I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to pretend like I know, but I know that she's not around. So please, all your best wishes out to her, and hopefully everything's okay. But from a match perspective, the story leading up to it was great. I thought everybody did their own great job in making it feel like an important match. It was an important match. And I think instead of looking at it as like Sanctum buried everybody, I'm looking at it as there's so many opportunities to branch out from here, and like it could go in any direction, and that's what's going to make the next episode of TV that much more.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I didn't mean to like dismiss
No,
what was going on.
Yeah,
no, you
I
meant
know,
it.
but it's a stereotype for like internet wrestling fans. You know?
Yeah, fair enough.
You,
I mean,
you meant it, Colin. You try. You're buried. They're buried. They're never coming back.
That's the beauty, though, honestly, of
Yeah.
it. Like, because I always bring the example of Smythe. First of all, he lost to 3 women. One of them was an elderly woman in her 60s. So he lost to 3 women, and then like a year later, he's main eventing Resolution. So it
absolutely.
does, that concept doesn't really work here unless you people want to fucking jaw at each other on Discord. It doesn't matter. Like there's been like the other example I always bring is that Pew got beat up by an alternative character at the main event of the Riot before he fought Nate Ortiz at Resolution 10, and they wound up winning that in the fucking match of the year candidate. This shit don't matter at the end of the day. Like
Unpredictability.
Yeah, absolutely.
no, it's fine. Like it's just me personally, I was just like, damn. But it is what it is, and what are you gonna do? That's the fucking way to cook it crumble. That's why. What is it that Jake says? Comp is comp. So what the fuck are you gonna do about it? Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like something like Colin, and like once again, like I kind of see where you're coming from, but I also hate that perspective as well. I'm kind of on that same way, because the thing is just like I stated earlier in Discord, and exactly what Jake said. It's like that. I don't think it harms either team, to be completely honest with you. I would kind of give you the leeway, like, yeah, when Frazier did win against Wolves of Vanguard, like, yeah, that probably did like not help Wolves of Vanguard out whatsoever. But like my big thing is with this story, which I'm very, very grateful Jake, Bax, and Telos and Cobra were all willing to do this story, because after Certified Greatness, Owen came up to me and he was like, well, who do you think you want next for the tag titles? Because obviously that's kind of always the grumbling in the OCW tag team division. It's like once a dominant team, and we've seen it literally 3 times now with CQC, Lucha Country, Imperial Country. Once a dominating team loses their titles, usually another dominant team comes in. But something that I really like about Sanctum is we're on a completely new game. We're on 2K22. Anyone can win at any time, and we literally almost lost the titles. How I pulled that off is I was lucky. At the end of the day, like I'm not going to sit there
You're
and be
goddamn
like,
right, you fucking were.
Exactly. I'm not going to act like my breakers were just luckily on point, and I thought at the right time to throw backs out so I could get Carmine out. I should have lost. I literally was shaking like I was going to piss my pants on how much anxiety was running through me when I seen Sheldon was gone. I was like, oh, fuck, this is Cutlass. And something else that, for anyone who doesn't read the shows, is James Frazier fulfilled his end of the deal for Carmine. He was the first person to pin Victor Carmine and give him a loss. And, I went to Jake with this crazy idea before I actually knew Chaos Theory was going to be a wheel. I was like, yo, let's do a triple threat ladder match. Like, let's really get fucking nuts, because obviously Frazier is going to climb up the ladder slow, but I have Sheldon, all of Cutlass are small lads, and then Dead Zone has Cobra. But then Jake was like, oh, hey, Jay wants to do a chamber. And I was like, fucking sign me up. Yes, sir. And then we got the chamber from the wheel. And as Jake said, that was one and done. That was literally probably one of the easiest multi-man matches out of my entire 3 years I've been here that I've done. There was minimal to no lag. There was no tomfoolery. There was no fuckery. Like, even when Cobra and Telos were jumping me, like, it fit their characters. Cutlass were, like, trying to get their licks in and do what they could to Frazier. But, it's like, walking out of this chamber, there's so many new avenues, because as stated in Discord before, when Jake went on and showed the teams that are available, both Cutlass or Dead Zone could easily like, nah, fam, as Jake said, like, I want a normal tag match. Like, let me beat you in a non-stipulation. Let's do a real tag match where you don't have 2 other homies beating the shit on me plus you and your partner, So the tag division right now, in my opinion, is probably the best it's been in OCW because of the unpredictability simply due to 2K22. I've said it before that Sanctum is beatable. Like we've seen Sheldon prove he's not the weak link, but we've also seen Frazier at times whiff stuff and biff it up. So going into Lucian, it'll be very interesting to see where the tag division goes, because, who knows, from now until July, we could see any number of random teams. We could literally have a Code Green pop out of nowhere. booking could win. Like, I want these two together. Yeah, I know. I quiver too, and I'm glad we beat the shit out of them. Fuck both those guys. Back to the action. But it's like the tag division, because we're on a new game, is probably in its most healthy point right now because anyone can win at any time, and there's so many more fun tag team matches that we can do. Neither Cutlass nor Dead Zone have fought Sanctum in a normal 2v2 tag match, so it's like there's 2 title matches right there that you could do. And even then, like, there's just so much fun stuff, and that was the match I was most excited to do. When we ended up winning, I screamed a little bit too loud because I did not expect it, but Jake's a class act, and I'm really glad both teams showed up and we had that fun ass match.
Did you go, let's go, and you won?
Yes, I literally screamed when me and Sheldon were in voice comms, and I was like, let's fucking go.
Nice. So
But yeah, I mean, just
go ahead, Colin.
yeah, I was going to say, just to clarify, I don't want to take anything away from that match or the people in the match because played very, very well, and it was a fun time. I think my only thing that took the wind out of my sails was I wanted insanity. I wanted sheer randomness, and I felt like I got a very kind of
too.
I mean, it was a
mundane result.
it was a solid sell. My thing is that, and I said this on Discord. I said this earlier on Discord, and I don't know if it's a generational thing. I don't know necessarily what it is. It's not a bad thing. It's just something different. So in the olden days, where I'm from, like whoever was a champion, like if there was a multi-man match, whoever was a champion, there was, unless you were Nate Ortiz or RD Money, or well, not really Drago. This was past Drago's time. Well, before Drago's time. Like you were not gonna walk out the champion because everyone in there would make sure that you would be you would be out first. Like Parker did it once, and then the second time around, they made sure they got his ass out to paint like ASAP. So my thing in my head, it's not a bad thing. It's just like an observation I noticed is that like there's not this focus on the champions. It's not like an aggressive thing either. I don't know. It's just like a tactic thing. I rarely ever see it here, and I don't know why that is. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just something that I've always noticed because I just remember in the old days, like if you walk into a 4-way match, right? Like if it's a 4-way elimination, those 3 people are making sure that you, the champion, are not going to be in the last, unless of course you are Nate Ortiz or maybe Jacob Trans, but he wasn't really a champion like that time, or an RD Money, or maybe even a Parker Stevens, because just on pure onslaught fighting back the odds, like it would be like a 3-on-1 until that person was out the paint. So it's just something that I noticed. It's like, again, it's not a bad or good thing. It's just something that me personally, like if I was in there, it would be my sole mission to get the champs out ASAP so that,
my sole mission is to win the match. I want to win the title, and I want to have a good match. I'm not going to go out of my way to make sure somebody else loses.
Well, it's not a bad thing, though. Like,
it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, but I'm telling you from a mindset, your mindset that you're describing, and the one that we live by, and I say we, and when I say we, I'm literally only talking about me and Russ Cole, because he's the only other one I can speak for. We're going in to have a good match and to win the match. We're not going in to make sure they lose the match. We're going in to make sure we have a good match and that we win the match. Anything else that happens. I feel like
from you.
That's where it headbutts with.
Well,
again, to go in and be like, no, the champions can't win. That seems.
But see,
I'm not doing that.
You're painting I'm not painting that picture. I'm just saying what I noticed before.
Though you said it.
And just like I said,
it's not. You're not painting a picture. You just said it. It is different. It's not better or worse.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm telling you that's why it's different. Like people they're more focused on their own results than the results of other people. I don't give a shit about the other people. I want what I want for me.
Jesus Christ, Jake Allen. Anyway,
let's move on.
There's
so much more to cover.
We are.
Harry and Ashton, right?
It's like 3 a.m. for Colin.
I'm sorry.
Oh, right. No, it's about like 1:15, so I'm all right.
So okay, so the next up we had I think the video promo. I don't know if we covered it. Was the Hitogui promo, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we talked
okay,
about.
All right. So yeah, we covered that one definitely. So then the next match would be the backstage brawl. So the only thing I'll say about this is I'll do the twofold thing to put myself over because I have to, because I have low self-esteem. Is once it was a backstage brawl, Jake was not happy.
Not happy.
So he was like, he was fussing, right? And in my head, I'm like, well, my thing is keep it simple, stupid. So he's fussing and fussing. He's like, oh, this match, it deserves a one-on-one and da-da-da-da-da. It's fucking backstage. Like, that's a good point. So I go to Colin. I say, hey, Colin. Or actually, I went to Ashley, but Ashley took forever. So I went to Colin. Hey, man, how about we try this? And Colin's like, ace, man, ace. So that's what happened. I gave Colin some bullet points, and then he executed. My only concern from Colin was the fucking peaking of Harry's entrance. I even lowered it myself, and it was still like, I don't know how you did it, because you're an audio engineer. But like, even when it was lowered, it was still loud, and I was so furious. But it is what it is. The match was entertaining as fuck. The only thing I hated was the fact that on the outside, you take these devastating you die bumps, but the game's like, "Lo, I'm back onto my feet, fuck you." So other than that, yeah, but it was great. She comes out running from singing the fucking theme song like John Cena, and then gets kicked in the face, and then it stops, and then the fucking forklift, and then like it was enjoyable. It was basically like when I give an idea and when the people execute the idea that I wanted perfectly, it makes me happy. So yeah, no, I dug it. I have no qualms to say, and given where it was, we needed something to kind of bring people down a little bit or keep them whatever, and we just go straight backstage to this fucking backstage brawl. What?
Not even he's not even hiding it.
What about hiding?
I mean, I agree. I agree with that sentiment, though.
What am I doing? What?
It was definitely that match that brought not the vibes, but the mood down as like a cool off, because and I'm gonna sound like a negative Nancy. I know I am. And Colin, it's not because you shit on Sanctum, even though I hate you. I'm kidding. But,
no problem, man.
I was not a huge fan of this story overall. I was really we already have. We can do it again sometime, whichever character you want. But I personally really liked Ashley Moore and Harry Etiquette as a team. And now, obviously, I don't know everything in the backstage between those two handlers or whatnot, but I kind of assumed we were shaping up to have an official OCW women's tag division. So when I seen, Tiramisu, Castianity, and More Etiquette, I was really pumped because I was like, oh, word, like this is the start of something like completely brand new in OCW. And something about it was, it's brand new. So when they broke up and when we started to see this feud go on, apologies if you can hear the child, not that sorry though. When the feud was going on, I was kind of a little bit lost because it seemed kind of repetitive, and like Harry does something silly to Ashley, and mind you, I enjoyed the stuff, but it just seemed a tad repetitive because it was like Harry does something silly to Ashley gets pissed off, and then we eventually get to Chaos Theory, and then we had the wheel where they had a backstage brawl. Now, me personally, once again, I hated that it was going to be a backstage brawl. And I kind of hate even more that staff were like, yo, y'all should turn it into a one-on-one, because I was like, damn, like, I would have rathered it just be like a 5 to 6 minute backstage brawl of madness.
Wow.
But we got, a one-on-one match. And then, there were other like small things like Ashley's attire. Like, bro, there's no way you're wrestling in your getup.
Oh, you don't know Ashley.
Well, realistically, no woman's wrestling in heels, dog. No shot.
Oh, you don't know Ashley. You don't know
Whoa. There's a lot of valid criticism about the attire. That is not one of them.
Have you not seen Jurassic World?
That's going to be a valid one for me. But as I said, I'm probably going to come off a little bit of a negative Nancy with this, but that's fine. The match, when it ended, I was like, you know what? It wasn't half bad, but I'm really hopeful that this is it for that branch between those two, and I hope we see Harry, now that she got this big win over a multi-time former women's world champion, and especially now that we'll cover this I'm sure in a few minutes, now that we have a new women's champion, the women's division is fucking wide open. So I'm really hoping that Harry uses this as a platform to launch herself up into perhaps title contention or upper mid-card of the women's division. But yeah, I was not really feeling it, and it definitely did, like, if it was meant to serve as a cool down, it executed it perfectly.
Wow.
Jake, go ahead. Jake was waiting for it. We'll put Jake, me, then Colin. Jake, go ahead, Jake.
Wow.
Jake. ahead.
No, I get you. I
Sorry,
get you. Don't worry.
That is, oh, you must be fucking digging in your Paul Pugh heels today. This is insane to
How
me.
dare you?
No.
Unbelievable to hear this. Unbelievable to hear this.
Wrestling.
And it's
not wrestling.
that this of all things is some kind of paint by the numbers feud that they're going back and forth. That is crazy. I've been like so joyous of the fact that the whole tag thing propped up at the same time, just like you said, and then like we had a proper tag feud culminating on a pay-per-view tornado tag match with Harry and Ashley against Tara Sue, and then they like broke apart, you know, because there's no proper women's tag division. Naturally, that's fine. And oh my goodness, the excellency of their execution. Sorry, Brett, and how they broke this thing up, and how not just Ashley just going back to being a bad guy, but how she reverted to every single Ashley thing she has ever done, down to the attire in the viewing party. I had to explain it to everybody that was in there. And I was in chat, and I'm like, anybody who is questioning this attire choice does not know Ashley Moore in terms of her. I'm talking back to Resolution 12, fighting Valkyrie. And this is quintessential Ashley Moore, where she's showing up to a backstage brawl in the least appropriate attire possible. And the whole story was about how Hari was taking her nonsensical bullshit and trying to show up Ashley Moore. So of course she would show up in a hot pink dress with high heels. And yes, Jay is correct. I was heated at the fact that one of my favorite storylines heading into the pay-per-view, one that absolutely deserved a pay-per-view spot, was relegated to a bullshit 5-minute off kilter nonsense backstage brawl. I hated that. But because of the people involved, I knew they weren't just going to go, let's load up backstage brawl and fight each other for 2 minutes, hit a finisher, and then go to the next match. I knew that wasn't going to happen. Whether you got in, let me say this, whether you got involved or not, that was never going to happen. But I am glad.
Oh my.
But I am glad that you did, because when you got the whole Hari etiquette entrance, which is so in character. If she came down to the ring after the brawl started, obviously she would say, hit my music, dog. And then she did. We got the whole entrance and everything. I will say, I'm not going to be totally positive here, because I'll say with the backstage brawl, I would have ran it a little bit longer, and I would have said, I don't know when it ended, like online or whatever. You could do that. You could do that competitively. Run it to the very end where it would have been ending, and then cut to Hari walking away. Once you two get to the ring, start damaged. Just start damaged. Like that shortens the time. That makes it legitimate, where like the damage that you suffered falling off of the balcony or whatever, getting hit with all the weapons, all of that remains continuity. You know, I just would have started maybe both of you double yellow, or in this case, since Ashley had most of the advantage in the backstage brawl, Hari starting down on damage. That's what I would have done. But I feel like that's a minor nitpick. It was still very entertaining. Great job pulling off a really shitty hand dealt to you by the wheel. I am going to say Hari Ashley 2 at Resolution, I would not be against. But I'm going to let them see what they want to do heading into Lucian.
Daniel, before you speak, I have something I have to say, because I don't know what the fuck happened. At some point, Jake Allen went from worshiping the ground I walk on to trying to contradict me in every goddamn aspect that happens, and it's sickening to me. Listen, motherfucker, I told him, I said specifically, like, hey man, just do a little bit on the, because the thing is like, oh, we don't have a backstage brawl, like, so do a little bit on the outside, give me 2-3 minutes, and then do a match. That's why that happened that way. And if I didn't say shit, it probably just went to backstage brawl. There was like 8 minutes. So fuck you, goddamn it.
No, it wouldn't have. I contend. I contend they would have made the magic happen. I know Colin well enough at this point. What did I say when he walked in the door? What? I'll go back and find it in the staff chat. I said, this Colin kid's got the juice. I will maintain that stance to this point.
He can't give me anything. Not one thing. And I'm sorry, Colin. It's not even about me, Colin. It's not even about me, Colin. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go talk, Colin. I can't.
Yeah,
this fucking guy makes me. He makes me sick. He makes me sick. Go ahead, Colin. I'm sorry.
No, I mean,
I'm still sick.
No, I mean, I will have to thank you, Jay, for actually giving me that sort of brief of what to do. I'm going to be honest, man. What I do here is I don't like to. I try not to piss people off unless I really need to. I like to toe the line. There's no way in hell that I would have surprised you with a different match type after the wheel happened. That would have been like, fuck, I'm gonna get banned for this shit. But yeah, backstage brawls, I messed around with them loads. They are broken. They are crap. There is barely anything you can do. So I was nervous about this, man. I thought that people were gonna just shit on this to such an extent. I didn't want to do any spoilers. I didn't want to even hint that something might be amiss with this, because I thought this could backfire in so many ways. And I'm really glad that it got mostly received well. I mean,
No, it was
mostly, because I know you know,
Great. The
you know,
whole pay-per-view is fantastic.
but I mean, nah, that means so much. But yeah, I think the thing I loved about this feud is that, especially because I was also dealing with the Jacob Trans stuff, this wasn't good against evil. This wasn't, you know, high stakes. This was just two women who used to be friends, who just kind of annoy each other.
Well,
at
two
this
assholes
point.
fighting, basically.
Yeah, it's just two absolute bitches just trying to, you know, have a bit of a slap fight, except instead of slaps, it's home invasions and boxing gloves coming out of locker rooms. It's the kind of insane shit that I love to do. So I don't know.
I
got
liked
my rocks
it,
off on
and it
this.
wasn't a fucking cooldown. It was cooldown in the sense that it wasn't a long match. So you can't come from a chamber and then have like, you can't go from the chamber and then go to the fucking like there's something that's just gonna whatever, because you tire out the orders. You got to kind of give them something to relax with, to chill with, enjoy, and then move on, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
First you talking about, oh, it's not jobbing, but then, oh, we're gonna cool down. Fuck all of y'all. God damn it. See, now I'm upset.
I mean, no, I mean, it definitely was a cooldown, but you know, that's fair. I mean, you did what you had to do. Good job.
Everyone's got their place on the card, and
Yes.
you know, I mean,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Hey,
And
it's
that
not
speaks
like-
to Jay's. That speaks to Jay's decision to put the matches where they were. Because this, he'll tell you every time we do a pay-per-view, I always change what his initial plans are.
Oh, fuck
this could
you!
not. This could no. I mean, I always propose changes. They don't always go into effect. But like you'll tell me like whenever you say this is what I want the card to look like, and I'm like, this is what I would do. This right here was a masterclass. You could not have booked this better from top to bottom, in my opinion.
I agree. Moving on. Fucking Max Edwards. Oh God, thanks someone followed. Thank you for following.
Yeah.
Thank you for following.
Oh.
Rev Hammer, appreciate that, Kimasabi. So we had
Sorry, Rev Hammer. Hook this into my veins. Give me Colin Max, baby.
so we had
Matt Colby.
Max Kobe. So yeah, so great fucking match, great feud, solid feud. No, if I have one complaint, and I do have one complaint, I think that it should have been Max charging Colby and Max being fucked up for how the match went. Basically, how you know how Colby started all bloodied up, because Max got the upper hand. I think I would have did the reverse way, because that's how you quote unquote keep the heat. Because that entire match, was Max trying to catch up. So him being bloodied up and like, oh, he's not gonna fucking take it, because we were thinking that throughout the entire match. It's like towards the end, like, oh shit, he might not do it. He's skin of his teeth. So to him, on top of being injured and being fucking Pearl Harbored, would have gave it a little bit more, like at least 10% more emotional damage. The heat, like Drago said, the heat. But yeah, no, I have no complaints. This was personally my match of the fucking night. It delivered everything I wanted and then some. And it was, a shout out to Aries, Colby, que se joda, and fucking Max, Luis, Dominicano, que se joda. Good shit all around. We'll take it to Jake.
Jason Sensation.
You fuck.
I'm going to shock you for a minute.
Here we go, you fuck.
By telling you that I disagree.
I hate you.
I don't necessarily think that making Max out to be this beaten down and heatified opponent helped the match. I mean, if that's the story they wanted to tell, it would have also been great. But I don't think that not doing that hindered it in any way. The start with them coming out and Max taking control of the situation, that has been kind of his onus this whole time. After Colby pissed on his grandfather's grave,
Granddaddy,
and after Colby like treated him like this little kid and like this piece of shit the whole time, I would say since probably the Turmoil before the go home, Max has really put his foot down and made himself. And you at a certain point, your big baby faces need to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. Max got ahead of the curve here. He jumped over the turnbuckle. You know, he's not this like sympathetic figure who got beaten down the whole time, and he really stuck to his guns this time. He beat the shit out of Colby. I will say, yeah, maybe starting with a little bit of damage would have helped, but unlike the Hari Ashley match, that was like a full competitive thing that happened before then. So starting with some damage would have made sense. This time it was just more of a segment, so starting without damage made a little more sense to me. If they had actually fought on the outside and then said, okay, whoever comes out in this outside segment, we're going to start with, let's say, orange head damage. That would have been okay, but that's not what happened here. This, I was okay with this because Max was putting his fucking foot down, and then he started with this in the storyline. He's like, okay, Max is in full control. He's dominating this big bully who's being an asshole. And they were able to take this and shift it from Max being in full control to Colby being the dominant force again, which then enhanced the sympathy that you then felt towards Max. So when he finally hit that finisher at the end, and there was so much of it, I have to say, that was added towards FPR. FPR being what it is, all of us watch it through the FPR and meta lens. We saw that this was the first finisher he hit. Unless I'm way too drunk to pay attention. I'm pretty sure the climax was the first finisher he hit, and he won by sudden death. We saw that happen.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so we saw that happen. We're like, oh, this is it. But because the match went so long and like the impact was so great, that one climax winning the match, I came buckets, kid. I was all over the place. Max winning that, I've said long on all the commentary that we've done, Jay, that the in-games match for the international title was the coming out moment. This is the coming out moment for Max and for me. I'm drained. I love Max Edwards. He's a main eventer. Let's move on.
Brian, go ahead.
Something that I really want to give Max a huge round of applause for is how, and when I say this word, don't latch onto it, is how quick he went from this asshole, this, like petty, really snarky, like I'm better than you, entrapping Joshua Tucker, talking down on Colin, being this smug prick in UAE, to becoming this baby face that, like, as Jake said, he's not this baby face that you're like, oh man, I really hope Max Edwards, and he was like, nah, bro, like, homie fucking flew at Colby McCallum, which was one of the best highlight reel clip cuts I've ever fucking seen. This is why we are just the best. But he went from this like smug heel to this believable baby face that it's like, bro, like, I want this man to go and take the moon, because it really showcased both guys' characters in such wonderful ways. It's like you see Colby like just get really, really tired of Max essentially having kind of like the spotlight in UAE from Archer. He was the international champion. He's the one that always tagged with Archer usually, and he just had enough. He just finally was like, nah, bro, like I'm the second generation superstar. I'm the one who my father is the GOAT. Like my father's Aries. Like, do you not know who I am? And this whole story was just money after money after money. And for the quick 30 seconds that I'll give the light to it, yes, he won off of one finisher, because after the constant patches in this game, after a certain amount of damage or after a certain amount of finishers hit, you will not mash out. It'll literally, you need a massage gun to just be hitting your X button to hope to God you can button mash out. But just what a performance by both guys. Like, just damn. Just overall damn. Like I joked with Lewis and I said that the Chamber was match of the night, but I'm sure either he or Max or both are listening, but I did fully agree. This is definitely a match of the night for me. Just match of the night, and honestly, I'm going to have to say probably a feud of the year candidate.
Colin,
do it.
Now I have a bone to pick with this story.
Oh, good.
Because-
Good. Pick your bone.
Oh, here we go.
Because I will straight up tell you now. Over the last few weeks when I've been doing stuff, I've been editing my videos, I've been in my matches, I was able to sit back in my chair and go, you know what, I'm proud of myself. I've done a pretty good job today, and I think people are going to enjoy what I'm putting down. And these bastards, Colby didn't just piss on Max's granddad's grave, right? He pissed on everything I've ever done in my life.
That's crazy.
It's so good. What these guys cooked up is just on another level, and everybody benefited from you know, I mean, Colby was a bit of a slow burner for me. I wasn't as high on him as other people were when he first came in, but I really got into him, and this storyline elevated him. He got on Max's level, and he bloody well stayed there. Max has no off button, right? He's one of my favorite people I've ever worked with. He's totally open-minded, hard-working as all hell, and he's good at this game, man. He's good as hell. I can't put him over enough. I don't mean this to sound gushy, but shit, this was good. And it is so good that I'm kind of bitter about it, because it's just, I am envious, man. It is so, what these guys put together is of a caliber you rarely see here, and I'm so glad they both did it. Because, yeah, I really hope the pissing on the grave segment isn't something that's forgotten, because I think that could end up being segment of the year when we do the awards in a few months.
I 100% agree with you.
Well,
Yes, I just wanted to speak more to, like,
go ahead.
The fact, because I commented in the Twitch chat, like, to speak to the transition that Brian talked about of Max turning from the UAE dickhead when he was feuding with Colin Locke, when he's feuding with Justin Jess, when he's feuding with Joshua Tucker and trapping him, to shift immediately as he did. That speaks so well to the storyline that Colby McCallum and UAE did as a whole. Not just in this one bubble, but like leading up to it, with Thomas Archer especially treating him like this underling, and like treating him like, I have to keep you so close to me because we are so connected. Colby being such a shitbag contributed so much to how much I want to cheer to Max Edwards, which made me so angry, and we haven't talked about this very much.
Go ahead.
Which made me so angry to watch Thomas Archer turn his back on him, because I thought if there was one force in the world that would keep Thomas Archer from being a bag of shit, it was his loyalty to Max Edwards. Every single opportunity as a staff and booking that we have given Thomas Archer to turn on him, he has refused. Every single opportunity we have given him, even in like those plane segments in the strip club, every single time Thomas Archer has expressed his loyalty to Max Edwards. And for this swerve to happen at the end, it really fucked me. It really, really did. I thought this was going to be I said it in the viewing party. I said, this is a face turn for Thomas Archer. He's the biggest shitbag on the planet. We never thought we'd see it. And then it happened. God damn it.
Yeah, fuck Thomas Archer. Basically.
Fuck that guy. Fat fuck. Fat pussy.
Fat. Yeah, well, sorry, I'm having a pork rind. I'm confused. So next up, we have. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm chewing. We have the Women's Wrestling Championship.
Women's World Title match.
Oh boy, Women's Wrestling Championship, man. Not a bad match in any stretch of the imagination, but amongst everything else that happened, it's really hard to stand out amongst the crowd. So I was rooting for FloJo, but that's not what happened in the fucking cards. Basically, fucking good old Fury fucking Osa is the new World Women's Wrestling Champion, and stupid fucks like Cass are like, yay, who gives a shit? But Colin, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I was on Team FloJo here because it would be nice and feel good for her to pull out the win in this. I'm still not entirely sure about the Furiosa story, and so I'm still trying to figure out what Cassianti is as a concept.
It's not a what you call it thing. It's not what the thing you said before. It's not like a sex cult or whatever. It's actually the opposite.
Don't worry.
Good, I'm glad we cleared that up. But fuck Cassianti regardless.
I think of some other people who said it was a harem, but I was just like, what?
It's not a harem.
It's not a harem. But yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, yeah, I think this on any other night would have been a solid enough match, but we had some absolute bangers tonight. And yeah, as you say, hard to stand out. But Furiosa's new champion. I'm interested to see what happens. I'm interested to see what happens from now, whether they're going to try and do a Reign of Terror thing where she just runs through the division, whether, FloJo tries to run it back or whatever. It'll be a fun time. And also you got the future investment soon. That'll be a this was a match that happened.
There is a potential investment of the future. Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm
trying not to sound dismissive, but yeah, it was a match. It was a fun little time.
It was a match, Brian.
Oh, he's gone.
Did he go?
Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's back. Does he have anything to add?
That's my bad. I accidentally left because I fat fingered it. But
Nice.
So being the person that one of the two people that sat there and commentated when FloJo won the title, I was super, super excited to see FloJo get her crowning moment. I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed with the story leading up. It didn't really. FloJo never gave me the vibe that she was the champion. That she was. It kind of kept, to me at least, and I'm sure when Jake says his piece, he'll probably tear me to shreds, but that's fair. I deserve it. It kind of always felt like FloJo still had this doubt, like she hadn't done the big moment that she had at Devil's Night, So when Furiosa came, we had the written promos, FloJo tried attacking Furiosa from behind, and then this is the one promo that really sticks out for me. Is FloJo tries to attack Furiosa from behind. Furiosa eventually shoves her off and is like, look at how I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you like I'm your mother. And I never feel like, to make fun of some things that Jay says, I don't feel like Gooch or FloJo ever got her heat back, ever got that respect or that moment where Furiosa was like, oh fuck, I'm facing a world champion. It more or less kind of seemed like a ticking time bomb of when Furiosa was going to take the title from FloJo. And I didn't want that to happen. I really, really, really wanted FloJo to win. Not because I don't like Castianity, but I really wanted to see what the people's champ and what the people's underdog was going to do as the women's world champion after so many attempts and so many failures and so many trials and tribulations. We've seen FloJo all over the place in OCW, at least for the 3 years that I've been here. And, she's had time and time again where she was just this close to winning. And finally at Devil's Night, she conquered the one demon of La Mujer. And then, it's La Mujer essentially comes back to try and creep on her again. But this time we have Castianity and Furiosa. And it was FloJo could do this. That could be a really big extra crowning moment, but comp is comp, and unfortunately you don't get every happy ending you want, and now we have Furiosa, who is the champ. I just hope we don't see Castianity 2.0 in the sense that Furiosa gives the title to Alexa Hayes, or else I'll fucking vomit.
I'll fucking I'll kill all these motherfuckers. That ain't happening. Disgusting.
I imagine, and I'm not saying that to give anyone ideas or try and do bullshit, but it's just I wish FloJo won, but also I really hope the handler behind FloJo doesn't take this loss and do a pity party, get back on the horse. Lucian is right there. Colin made the mention, there could be the future investment, or you could go and kind of go on a rampage and try and take out Castianity and demand a rematch or beat the shit out of some people. It's I really just want FloJo to have that next step in the sense of where she finally has some confidence.
I think you put it quite well there. I think that was probably my issue, that FloJo went down, and I don't think she went down swinging for the fences.
Yeah, it's just kind of she gave up. It was just I'm ahead in the this is kind of teeter-tottering with kayfabe and actual comp, but it's you were ahead in the match. And then I kind of feel you got in your head. And then when you got in your head, especially with this game, if you get in your head and you overthink shit, you're going to get absolutely thrashed. Yeah. And I kind of feel that's what happened, is FloJo was in the driver's seat. We've seen it. FloJo was really taking the fight to Furiosa. And I was fuck yes. This is it. The people's champ's going to do it. We're going to, she's going to prove everybody wrong. And then Harvey's a piece of gabagool asshole face who flipped the switch, and Furiosa got the comeback and ended up winning. And it's just damn. But I really hope that FloJo isn't a certain French pussy that's my contract is expiring, I must go now.
What country
What the
was
fuck
she
was
from
I don't
again?
know what the fuck that was, bro.
That's quite the accent.
Wow.
Yeah, no one said I'm an accent professional.
Speaking of contracts, fucking Jake Allen over here. Speaking of Jake, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I love the initial thought that I was going to disagree with everything you said, but I can't. I just can't. Brian is on the money. And I think one pertinent thing that you mentioned is that this FloJo character always resonates so heavily in a meta sense. There are so many characters in OCW. I would attest almost all of them. I would say 98% of characters, and I tell Jay this all the time, let characters stand on their own two legs. I don't give a fuck who their handler is.
Oh my
I don't give a fuck.
God.
Like if they're willing to attack the situation and create content, like let them make this. But this is one that I just can't. Like FloJo and I came in at the exact same time, and FloJo can't stand on her own two legs. Like at this point, like that's just how it is. FloJo is a shallow character who can't stand on her own two legs. I want the character to do so because the presentation and the aesthetic is so great. I committed myself to that ladies night program, to the Evolution program, everything that we built up ahead of the with the Terra FloJo promo program, to getting FloJo to where she needs to be. Like threw her down the fucking stairs. We did a bunch of promos together, did videos, and now it's just like this was the worst. This is the worst built feud of the entire show, and it's not close.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's not close. So like, just like there's no confidence in the character. There's no confidence in the title. There's no confidence anywhere. Like you just get there and and then you're watching the match because you don't have. When I watch these other matches, I'm able to watch things that happen and build into like what I saw the previous 4 weeks. I'm watching these flow by because I just have the Twitch feed up and I see like the chamber match, and I'm able to dive into what happened with Dead Zone and over the last years. I'm able to watch, look, Tony Everett, Russ Cole, like there's years of build here, stuff going on character development wise, and it's just like FloJo's constantly locked in a state of stuck, constantly locked in a state of, do I want to be anti-hero? Do I want to be a sad sack? Do I want to be a heel? You're nothing at this point. You're nothing.
Yep.
And so like when I was like, because I want the character to succeed so badly, when I saw the victory at Devil's Night, I was over the fucking moon. I was like, this is it. This is it.
Yes.
And then it just didn't turn into anything. There's no initiative. There's no action being taken. There's like, I saw a couple of promos that were very short and they like were okay, where FloJo was like, okay, I'm gonna take control of my destiny, whatever. They were very short. They didn't really lead to anything. There's no overarching narrative that you can spin out of this. So when the match happens and Furiosa wins, like from an in-universe perspective, which is how I prefer everything to be viewed, that's the lens I want everybody to view everything, I'm like, yeah, that is correct. Furiosa has an identity baked into history, years and years of her I guess you could say semi-abusive relationship with Harvey Ocean emotionally, not physically, and then with all of the stuff that she's dealt with Valkyrie, and then going into this with Christianity. You look at FloJo and you're just like, she's the underdog. You just gotta expand, and I want her to, and I have spent a considerable amount of time trying to make that happen. It just didn't this time. This defense, it didn't happen. It makes complete sense that the underdog, who has not committed an ounce of time to herself, did not commit an ounce of time to her match, and so she lost. There are infinite ways for this to go in the future. This is not saying FloJo's dead as a character. She could obviously come back and be amazing in the future, and I hope she is. But this makes perfect sense from an in-universe perspective. Fuck Heather Angelo. It's been 5 years for this woman. She did not have the, oh my God, this is my first title, like arc, because she's an asshole and she didn't deserve it. But I mean, I love it. I love it from a wrestling perspective. That's my rant. I don't disagree with you, Brian. You hit the nail on that.
Did I touch on Colin or did I skip him?
No, you got Colin.
Oh, I got Colin.
We were talking before.
Okay, so from a non-story, non-aggressive Jake standpoint. Also, before we go, actually no, we'll talk about that before the main event. So my thing is that I kind of, from a match standpoint, I felt like the roll into whatever worked 3 times, and then once Furiosa caught on to it, it was kind of quaintance for FloJo. That's from a match standpoint. from a story standpoint, I really can't disagree. It's just when it comes to like stories, like certain people I expect things from, and certain people I don't expect anything particularly from FloJo. I like the character, but again, it's the role plays are very like, ooh, fuck
They're
you.
nothing.
Yeah,
They're
basically.
nothing. There's no inspiration to them.
They're kind of that. The thing is, I come from a time where I had to write for people, so it's not bad or good to me. I'm just indifferent at the very least, basically. That's the context I have from. So moving along, we have the main event.
Actually, wait, Jay,
What?
1 sec.
What?
I apologize for cutting you off. And before we get to the main event, Gooch, if you're listening to this, please do not take any of this as a personal attack. I just really want you to do better. So, like, now we can go on to the main event because you have the potential, but it's like, please pick the fucking ball up and apply it to what you want to do. We're not trying to sit here and shit on everything you did because we hate you. It's just like, we love the character and we just want you to put the same love into the character outside of attires. Anyways, go on, Jay.
Gooch is making the baby cry, basically.
That's it.
So now we have the main event. We have the promo package for the main event, which was really well done. I don't know who did that.
My dick is hard again. It was no. Let me stop you there because it was Rustin Josephine Cole, my man. Dived in. You want to talk about a fucking hype package that puts together everything. You tuned in today. You tuned in 5 years ago. Join. You tuned in 2 years ago when Colin joined. It doesn't matter. You got the full picture of how these two have interacted in their careers. You got all of the emotion that you needed to feel, and he is not a six-figure kind of guy who's putting videos together. That just goes to say it's that simple. You get an emotional song, you get a bunch of clips that happen. He didn't record any of that shit. That's all stuff I remembered from watching on stream. You put that in a video, and it's so easy to immerse yourself into what happened. It was beautiful. I'm so glad I didn't ask to watch that prior. That was amazing.
Rustin Josephine Cole. I love that. You're done cutting me off? Great. We enjoy.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We enjoy. I have another bone to pick with you maybe after the podcast. Well, no, during the podcast, but after the main event. But yeah. So here's the thing about this match. I didn't hate this match, but I feel it wasn't as strong as it should be because I guess weapons do a fuckload of damage now, and poor Rusty, he was just behind like fucking stop. Like I don't know. Like it just felt it wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't like what I'm used to from both these people for the most part. And then when they went to the top, like I would have preferred, comp is beautiful. Comp is comp rather. I'm mixing the words. And then when Tony went to the top, I kind of would have preferred if Russ went to the top, but that's a minute thing because Russ being the heel or whatever. But then when they went through from what looked like a senton, which was fucking chaotic as shit. Well, it's chaos theory. What do you want? ECW style, kind of sometimes, mostly PvP though. Blue Dream, nice. So yeah, when they went through the damn cell. The other thing is, once Russ went through the cell, I kind of wish Tony would have went for a cover instead of going for a finisher or whatever the fuck that was. Just because, like that was my one nitpick because then it could have went on maybe a little bit longer or something, or just I don't know. I just felt like just take the cover because he's dead, and then if it continues, crack him, and then you go home. But overall, we'll talk about the match and we'll talk about the after the match. But the actual match itself, I don't think was the strongest on the card. But hey, it happens. But I still dug it. I just found those little things about the actual match that kind of didn't click with me per se. Colin.
Yeah, I mean, I feel for these guys. I think this is a stipulation that's hard to get right in this environment, and I could always tell they were trying to make the best of it. But yeah, I will agree with you. For me, it felt like the match was always threatening to go into a different gear, and it never did. It's like, oh, they left the ring. Oh, here we go. They've left the cell. Oh, here we go. Oh, they're on top of the cell. Here we go. Oh no, it's over. I will say, I think. The finish for me, it kind of felt a bit almost RNG bullshit with Rust putting himself through the top, eating the stunned finisher, and then it could have gone longer, it could have been stronger, but it's what they say, right? Comp is comp.
Yeah.
RNG business isn't great, but it wasn't a disaster. I loved the story behind it. And I think that's kind of what made it bite a little bit more for me. The fact that the story resonated so much with me, and it ended with Rust putting himself through the Hell in the Cell. I was a bit like, ah.
Well, if you look at the, I had to look at it twice because at first I thought that since they both dove, but it looked like fucking Tony sentoned them because I don't know, it's weird. Like they both connect at the same time, but Tony was on top of Russ, so his ass hit Tony, hit Russ, and Russ went through the fucking table.
That's exactly what happened. It was a very lucky circumstance, but Colin, keep saying your stuff, and then I'll say what I noticed, whatever.
Oh, well, yeah, no. So, I mean, yeah, for me, it's a match that never quite found the, oh my god moment that a story of this caliber in Hell in a Cell could have. But I also respect that you are fighting the stipulation as much as you're fighting the other guy in situations like this. So, yeah, I'll give credit to both guys, but I think through circumstances, it didn't hit the highs I wanted. But not a bad match.
I mean, the funny thing about that is I thought that Hell in a Cell would actually, you know, that was a preferred outcome. If anything, like I figured, oh, that worked, but I underestimated the amount of damage that weapons do. Holy shit, dude! That fucking.
But why
thing
does that
was
matter?
Well,
but why does that matter? To you?
Because he's looking at it from the wrong side. Looking at it from the meta side.
I agree, and
well.
I agree, and I want you to go ahead, Brian, before I talk.
Okay, thank you. So two things. Jay, just to give you a little bit of insight, because I play the game too much, I think the reason, and now I don't know this, I'm sure Tony can confirm it or not, I think one of the reasons why perhaps he didn't go for the pin is because of what I said earlier. Rust's health bar was thrashed, so if he would have went for the pin, I don't think Rust would have been able to mash out. So I think Tony was like, you know what, fuck it, he's already stunned. And it kind of is going to lead into my thing that I'm going to have to disagree with Colin about, is because I feel like for the match, that unexpected moment where like Tony essentially sentoned Rust through the cage because of a fuck up on Rust's end was kind of that like, oh shit moment. And so I feel like the reason he went for the Finn is simply because I don't think Rust would have kicked out. And I think that would have just been a better finish anyways, to have the senton through the cell into the Finn, call it a day. But something that, and I love Tony. I love the handler behind Tony, but something that I'm really happy about this is that he won, and that I'm assuming we're going to get the Fatal 4-Way at Lucian, because something with Tony's reign that kind of isn't his fault and isn't his doing. I don't expect any of us expected to stay on 2K19 as long as we did, but Tony really hasn't had many. I don't want to say this in a bad way to make people upset, but like, I don't feel like Tony has had very many credible challengers. You know, like he's only defended the title now. This is 5th time, and he's going to become the longest reigning CCW champion. And, you know, something with that is obviously he competed in the S Cup, which that was no one's doing. You know, we switched it up and the OCW pay-per-view schedule got switched, and, you know, but it's like we kind of seen with Tony, he absolutely murked Parker. He beat El Parca at Summerside, which in my opinion, that was probably his most dangerous threat at that time. I think he then fought Jest, thrashed Jest, fought Jacob Trance. Jacob Trance took over the most dangerous opponent for Parca because, you know, into the meta gaze, you know, Jacob Trance did have resiliency, and on 2K19, Jamie is an absolute god. And, you know, so going into this feud with Russ Cole, it really reinvigorated Tony's title reign for me. You know, like we've seen the Uncrowned versus Dominion storyline between Nate and Danny and, you know, Doc and Tony. So, you know, it's like to have Russ be the typical slime ball that he is, you know, betray Tony and go behind his back and try and take the title from him. And, you know, to have this match, I feel like it actually worked out more for Tony because I want a dominant performance by Tony, because in my opinion, Russ losing doesn't hurt him whatsoever. Russ Cole will be wherever he wants to be on the card because the man puts the work in, and the man's character work is unparalleled compared to some people, you know? So it's like, it's just, I would have wished they probably got a different stipulation, only because I think the Hell in a Cell camera, and when you're inside of the cell, is absolute dog shit, and because I would have liked a little bit more violence. But for what they did with the hype package, with all the promos leading up, the contract of if Tony touches Rust, I'm pretty sure it said that he either wouldn't get the match or he'd lose the title. It's kind of slipping me. I apologize for not knowing that specifically, but it's like everything really played out well. Rust really playing on the insecurities and the character traits of Antonio Everett like a glove, man. So, wasn't match of the night, no, but it was definitely a worthwhile world title feud for me.
Who's next? Jake?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah. It was a world title feud. And let me address something straight off the bat. With the whole quality of defense with somebody's title, I prefer to look at things in the scope of every individual story. If you sit there and look at things in well, this person's only feuding with this person because they want to be the greatest champion ever, that you're missing the whole point. So every single feud that Tony has had up to this point, including people that you may not think ever had a chance to beat him, they have a significant mark in the legacy of that reign. So Justin Jest, sure, we're sitting here saying right now that Justin Jest never had a shot, but Justin Jest was a monumental, big-time, underdog babyface in that match. And had he won it somehow, we would be talking different right now. And he had the tag match during his reign and the whole S Cup and whatever. So that part I'm gonna disagree with entirely. Everything else I do agree with entirely, because like you said, Russ Cole can go wherever he wants. He, in my opinion, is the #1 threat to the title for Antonio Everett, past El Parca, past Jacob Trance, because he's the one who challenged him most recently.
Absolutely.
Whoever challenges him tomorrow, it could be Mantis. He would be the most threatening challenger because he's the one coming up against Antonio Everett. But that's kind of a different perspective. The other thing I wanted to comment on was the whole things from a wrestling scope, and it gets really difficult when you talk about a gimmick match like Hell in a Cell, because there's certain expectations, and that's when you can't view OCW like a wrestling. You can't go into it saying I expect this or I expect that. Wrestling, in my opinion, is the most fun because it's you never know what to expect, and even in real wrestling, which is fixed, when stuff happens that people don't like and they go, well, this should have happened or that should have happened, I'm like, no, that's what's fun. You have no fucking idea. And that's what makes me love OCW the most, because you have no idea to an extent that is even way past the real wrestling world, because you really don't know, because it is all competitive. And the fact that they were able to put together the Hell in the Cell match that they even gave us a top. I was like, you can ask Jay, coming into us, I'm like, cell match, they're gonna do a whole top of the cell spot where they throw them off the table or they go through the cell. And the fact that they were able to give us that expectation while surprising us monumentally in an R&D that was insane is quintessential OCW. I will agree with you, Brian. It's not the best match on the card. That goes to Max and Colby. I know Rust is probably surprised to know that he's not the best match on the card for once in his goddamn life. And then the last thing I'll say before we move on is that Rust not being the one who moves up to the top of the cell is in fact not the most surprising thing. Rust, in a generic heel face sense, going to the top of the cell and telling Tony to come up, sure, that makes the most sense. But if you look at both of these characters and their history, Tony being the one that invites him up is what makes the most sense. And I know it only came, and I'm not saying that because it happened. It only happened because that's the flow of the match, whatever. Tony being betrayed, every single time he's been betrayed, every single time, going back to Doc breaking up the Uncrowned initially and all of the King of the OCW stuff, he's always been the one given one stop where he had insecurities with Austin Lee and Turris, and I was involved in that, so I'm obviously closer to that, but past that one thing, the character of Antonio Everett has always been charged as a babyface, which I love in a babyface. I hate when they're like, what am I gonna do? And then they win. Tony's not that guy. He's always the one. And Russ Cole, on the other hand, has always been the cowardly heel who is always trying to take the lower way out of things. So the fact that Tony was the one that went up and said, bring it up, bitch, that also introduces a new... Yeah, I think it did as well. And then the finish, for him to not pin him, Jay, this is to Jay, to not pin him after going to the chamber, that to me would have taken me out of it even more. Because he's stunned now. As a viewer, I know he's got to hit a finisher to finish. There's a certain balance you got to strike, and that's why guys like Rust and Tony are so good at what they do, is because they're able to strike the balance between this fixed notion of what you have, what is pro wrestling, and they're also able to combine it into a comp sense. And what he did is perfect. He knocked him through the chamber accidentally, and then he said, I know I've got to hit this finish. If he would have pinned him, it would have taken me out of it, because I would have been in the viewing party screaming, hit the finisher, because I know what's going on. So him hitting the finisher was the 100% correct move, and I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he defended, and I'm glad he's going into resolution 1 year after 17 as the CCW World Title. Tony's a handsome man. He's a handsome boy. He's a talented boy,
and that goes to show the scope that we, as us in OCW, view our matches. You know, because it's like, we have that view where it's like, oh yeah, like he's stunned, like absolutely from a wrestling sense. Like if this is WWE, I would 100% agree. I would want them to go for the pin. But since we are OCW and since we do abide by FPR, of course, he's not going to waste that opportunity. Well, not even just opportunity, but the spot of a 1 in 1 millionth chance that you're going to land that fucking senton the way that you did into a finisher. So it's like, what's the thing Vince McMahon says, you know, you always remember the finish. And honestly, what a fucking finish. That, it was regardless of what happened at the rest of the match, Russ could have gotten the snot beat out of him the entire time, or Tony could have gotten the snot beat out of him the entire time. But how that match ended, you genuinely could not have predetermined, pre-written AI versus AI, highlight reel, anything. That is why PvP and OCW is the best.
Yeah, it says, and Brian, the fact that you said that, we're going to remember that moment at the end, and you can grunt all you want, Jay, but the fact that we're going to remember that finish because it happened, and then the finish happened immediately after. If that happens, Tony pins, Russ kicks out, they fight for 5 more minutes, we're talking about something completely different. We're talking about something completely different right now. But the fact that he went for the finish when he did is why OCW is great. It's why what you have created over this last 7 years is what it is. So you can disagree if you want, but you're the one who made this what it is. So enjoy it.
Moving along, we have...
Can we talk about the aftermath?
Yes, we have the aftermath.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I cracked the fucking code. Fuck you, Jake. Rather, I said fuck myself. Fuck you too. Fuck both of us, Jake. Tired of you disagreeing with me just to disagree. Anyway, I cracked the code. I was correct, and I made the video better because apparently there was a lot of shit left out. So I made it. I had a more little sizzle to it. I enjoyed it. I expected it. I was happy. It was very nice. The fucking camera angle. Yes, Drago also cracked the code. Me and Drago were discussing the code. We were trying to crack it, and then I know when I spoke to Nick about it, he was like, "Shit, I thought it was a King of Stevie 20, whatever." I was like, "No, motherfucker. Look who was in the video. In the previous video, you had all these former people, but there was an old iteration. You had old Cass. The only one that was missing was Nate, which I would consider to be the what's the word called when you try to throw people off, the red herring. There was no Nate, but there was Hervey, there was Cass, there was who the fuck else? There was a bunch of people that I can't remember.
Russ. I'll break down. Go
ahead, break down, Mr. Confidence. Go ahead, motherfucker.
You want me to start?
Go ahead. You can start.
Okay. So Jay laughed every single week that I uploaded the same video. Obviously, he has to upload them. He knows it was coming from me. He knew I was involved, whatever. There's a lot that went into it. If anybody remembers back to the anniversary show, the ending of the Last Man Standing match, same effect. The eyeball closing effect was the exact same. And if you watch the start of the...
I hate you.
If you watch back to the video, This is a video of a person walking through New York City, which is where OCW operates. And at the very beginning of the video, there were three distinct videos. By the way, the first one was the blinking closes, and it goes blue as it's closing. That signifies that a Jittu the mind is breaking. You know, we're going into the mind of courts. Blue is closing. A Jittu is leaving. Okay, so that's what happened with the title match. The same thing happened. You can go watch the match against Hardy. The eyeball closes. It has a red tint and everything. So this is not something that happened on the fly. The first one didn't have anything. It just played whatever. Nobody really knew. The only hint that was at the end, it was going to the city, and then at the very end was at the end of the song. And Jay did know the code because Jay knows that all music that I use has. I'm at a crossroads, don't know where to go. It's courts, doesn't, you know, which personality, where's here. You won't catch me standing here forever. That means I'm not going to just sit around forever, whatever. You did. You called every single lyric out to the T. And then at the very end of the first video, it flashes. It goes blue, red, black. And I thought that was too much of a gift. But when I watched it in viewing party with everybody, I'm like, what is this? Because I was trying to keep the charade up. Nobody caught the blue, red, black. That's J2 and S intel. And I thought that was obvious. It wasn't. So then I edited a date. The second video was after each blink, there was a date. There was 05212022. And it just happened to line up perfectly with the song. I didn't mean to do that, but it worked out. And that was the Chaos Theory, obviously. And then the third video was every opponent that Ines Courts, the red who appeared at the end of the show, every opponent he had in order after the chamber. And if you go back and watch the third video, the one that happened on the Go Home show, there is one at the very beginning once the blue eye closes. That picture of Cass standing across from his 5 opponents in the chamber at Resolution 14, that's the picture. It's just really grained out. I could, like, if you go back there and you just pull the lights up, if you like just pull the brightness and contrast up, you'll see that it's just a picture of Cass at Resolution 14 looking across the ring from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes in reverse order. It's got the triple threat match between, well, it starts with the last match that Ines had with Russ Cole. And then the last 2 matches against H2O and Shepard, which nobody else got. Nobody else called Shepard out, which is very fun. I did pick each cut specifically, so when Cass pointed out that it was Papa Cass, yeah, because that was, again, the last 2 cuts were against Rex and Cass, which was the Road to Glory Splinterfest match.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in reverse order. Every cut was very specifically picked. And then Jest was the one, the only singles match that Courts had at OCW Champion. So that's all. There's a lot of little things digged in there. Everything I do, I try and this is what I was talking about with the pedal stuff, is that you have to both appeal. You have to both appeal to the new viewers and the old viewers at the same time, and that's kind of what I was trying to do. Anyway, I knew I had to introduce it with the ending. I had to introduce it with the videos that had been leading up to it. Jay, you did edit it by you just put a date in, so I'm glad that you filled that in. Great.
There was
but
more.
Other than that, no, there wasn't more.
Yes, there was.
No, it cut directly from Antonio. It cut directly from Antonio and Doc.
May I cut you off so I can let you know? So
all I saw was the date.
Well, in the original cut, your stuff played and they were still just looking at them. There was no mystery. It's just your music playing. I added in the Undertaker. Man, I ain't gonna explain myself. Fuck you. I'm tired of your shit. But congratulations on coming back.
No, it shut off. It shut off. It went.
In the original,
you're right.
The original did.
No, in the original it didn't. In the original they were, and then the music started. But in yours it went, and then the music started playing. Like, I gave
it ambiance. I made it better. You know what? I'm not gonna defend myself to you. I don't care anymore.
You did.
I'm glad you're back.
It
Fuck
was
your
fun.
face.
You did. It was fun.
No, whatever. Don't talk down to me. Colin, what do you think, Colin?
I'm not talking to you. Why did you do that? I didn't even talk about it. You asked me to explain the code. That's the code.
I know the code was cracking. I was very happy until now.
You did. You understood the code way earlier. You understood the code way earlier. I will just say, so I don't have to talk anymore about this. This has been in the works for years. This is Doc, Green, Antonio Everett, Russ Cole, and Quartz.
Fucking allied powers.
The 4 allied powers who have, in our humble opinion, transformed the picture of what you see OCW is today. This is what we kind of fucking pictured. It ended up landing this way with Tony and Rust in the main event, and oh my god, I was just so happy. Like I watched that video at the end with all 4 of them in the ring so many times. I was so happy to see it. I just hope that everybody else was able to get a little bit of the magnitude of the situation. I'll stop talking.
I said I loved it, but I didn't. I hated it. Colin, your thoughts?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's one of those things. I had a feeling that Doc and Tony were having something big brewing for Lucian, so I was just kind of like waiting to see what it was. And this came out, and it's everything. I personally, when Quartz kind of sort of died in that last man standing, and the eye went off, I felt there was something huge missing from OCW since then. Quartz, for me, was like, he was the final boss, right? He was the dude who held everything together. So when he took a break, I was a bit like, oh no.
He's not gonna fuck you.
When I was waiting for you to bring that out.
I might.
I was waiting.
I might, honestly.
I was waiting. But yeah, so I'm really, really happy about Ines Quartz showing up. I want to see what he's all about. And yeah, that final shot of the 4 in the ring, and you've got Russ sort of sitting down. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's what this place is about, honestly.
He's sitting down because he's carrying OCW. Fuck him, he's French. I'm sorry, Colin.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, I deal in memes and silliness, and that kind of was a smack in the face for what we can do on a real serious competitive level with those 4 top dudes getting ready to face off. And you don't even need to. You will obviously do more stories, but you don't even need promos at this point. You don't need anything. You just need that picture and the match card, and you've got a main event of Lucian. That's the power of these 4 dudes. I wasn't even around for the history of. The story's been told incredibly, everything's been put across so clearly, and yeah, huge respect for it. I can't wait to see what happens.
How bold of you to assume main event Lucian. Brian, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, of course I know the soft puppet match is going to go ahead of it,
Colin.
but you know.
I'm joking. Go ahead, Brian.
Sorry.
So, I already knew that Quartz was coming back because I accidentally, when I was downloading Victor Carmine, I had to go to Jake's profile. And
fucker! I knew you were gonna do this.
No, I couldn't find Victor Carmine, your accurate attire. So I went to the content created by you, and I seen him right there, and I'm like, bro, there's no fucking way I just seen this. Then I downloaded Victor. I seen literally in the description of Quartz secret, and then I was like, okay, so this is probably what's gonna go on. But how it was executed blew my pants off. It was absolutely awesome. Like, I was gonna say it when you were talking about how you watched the video of all 4 guys in the ring. That moving camera and just everyone's viewpoint and like the start, like looking at like you're about to get the start of the Fatal 4-Way. It's like, dude, that is just how you do wrestling. Not OCW, not EFED, not E-Rest. That is how you do wrestling. That was so amazing. And I hate to even compliment him because he's a French fuck and doesn't deserve it, but it's like seeing like Russ kind of like laying there and like having to see Quartz, and then you have Tony and Doc, like all that history. Like, of course, we're going to Wembley. We got the 2 Brits that are going to be in the main event with the,
how the fuck are they going to be the main event?
With Doc and Tony, like, you act like I mean, it is what it is. You know, whatever the charade is we want to do on the stream, but that's obviously a main event match and is straight money. But how you brought Quartz back and how you're presenting him, you know, I will admit partially that when Ijitsu wasn't around, it did kind of feel like there was something missing. But you know, how OCW works, like it's going to get filled in, you know, that void's going to be filled. And surprisingly or not, instead of a Jitsu filling the void from coming back, it's now an S. And, you know, I'm really, really excited to see what happens with that, because there's just so much history, man. Like, what those 4 competitors have done individually and together is insane and off the wall. You know, like, there's so many feuds between those 4. So the build solution with just that story is going to be insane. And I don't really know what's going to be able to come up in the build, but knowing all 4 of those creative minds, it's going to be a masterpiece.
Well then. What you laughing at, motherfucker? What?
You're so defensive.
I'm not defensive. I'm tired of being attacked from all fucking angles.
Nobody's
attacking you.
attacking.
This is my
Nobody's
place.
attacking
I
you.
created this. I created this.
You did.
This tapestry.
We've given you. There's been nothing but compliments. There's been nothing but compliments
The
headed your way.
tapestries are trying to kill me.
Listen, there's been nothing but compliments
They're
headed your
trying to
way.
kill me.
You just, any assumption, whether it's positive or negative, you jot down immediately.
I
You're
don't
just
jot
like,
nothing
no.
down. I can't remember.
You
anything.
what? You shot it down.
You came here and you was happy to be here. Now all you do is disagree
Relax.
with me.
I am happy. Well, I am happy to be here because I have the ability to disagree with your
All the
shitty
time.
takes.
My takes are not shit. I have my pills. Fuck you, Roscoe. I hate this place. I should never gave you motherfuckers e-money or hoop bucks. There ain't nothing else to talk about. Wonderful show.
I'm glad everybody else was aware of what was happening at the end of the show.
It was great.
There was
a
a part of me, Jay. There was a part of me, Jay, and I know we would have talked about this if we called the. I was so upset. Should I talk about it?
Talk about it.
No,
I was
I'm
upset.
gonna-
I was
I'm gonna
upset
do
too.
it.
Not only was I disappointed. Thank you for whoever. Oh,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
whoever. Thank you for that. Something
Well,
popped
you know
up.
who it is. It's Gino. Gino
I
is
didn't see
a
it.
fucking
It came
giving
late.
person. They hate themselves, but they love
I hate
everyone
myself
else.
too, but
They-
yeah, no,
They should
it
deserve
was-
all the love and
It was disappointing, but shout out
Thank
to
you,
Nick
Gino.
for stepping up at in the 11th hour. But and then fucking Jake, I was like, I'm just gonna leave it as a surprise. Jake fucking write like, why'd you write that? They go, so I don't have to ask the questions during VP.
No,
I was like, well,
no,
smart.
what? No, okay, so why? So like, yeah, I'm gonna stand by that. I'm gonna announce that date.
It's
'Cause we
you know how that works. You know how that works. You just type in everyone. Yeah, had Rona. That's it. That's not a fucking.
No, I'm never doing that. No,
Ah.
because this is
loved the
pro
kayfabe.
wrestling.
Yeah,
This
I
is
love
pro
that.
Piece of
wrestling,
shit.
baby.
I
This
hate
is
you.
pro wrestling. You make every single thing that you have the opportunity to make. You make it into a goddamn spectacle. That's entertainment. That's pro wrestling. You do it, okay? That's just what.
So
happened.
say what
I
you
had to
want.
work-
Say what you wanted to say, buddy.
Yeah,
and I'm glad
yeah,
you feel better.
I don't want to say.
Why
it,
don't
but
you
I'm
want to
glad the
say
rest of
it?
the
Say
people
it. You can say it. It's fine.
Because I jumped the shark at this point.
You didn't jump the shark
know.
at this point. Just say what you got to say. It's okay. It's fine.
I had a work trip. It's the first time that me and my coworkers have been able to get together in probably 2.5 years because of the world at large, and we had fun as you do. And then I had Impact Wrestling in Orlando, or Kissimmee, which was a couple days after that. We contracted COVID when we were at the bar.
Your coworkers or you and your wife or what?
All of us. There were
Damn.
probably 23 of us at our work station that
Well.
and we all work remote. We all work remote, but we all met up. We all met up and we just had such a good time, and like we all love being together and everything. And just to not be around each other after, because we all used to work in an office together, and then we worked remote because of COVID, and then we all met up and we love being in each other's presence, and then just to leave and immediately just be struck with the reality. You just cannot be together in a big place like this without drastic consequences. And we're all vaccinated, so it's like not a big deal. Like I was very sick early in the week. That's why I could not do commentary. And you can hear me now. I'm still pretty sinusy. I'm okay now, but like Monday, Tuesday, whatever, when we pay-per-view commentary, it was not gonna happen. So I told Jay, I'm like, you gotta figure this out, whatever. I did make that article because everything's pro wrestling. You want to make everything. And I am technically still in contract negotiations. I will go work for our pro tomorrow if I have to.
I'll fucking
Oh,
smack
wow.
this.
Oh,
You know
wow.
what?
So
They won't take you,
Nah,
motherfucker.
this is
Ain't nobody
this is my
taking you.
moment.
Ain't nobody taking you.
This is my moment.
Ain't
So
nobody taking you.
Don't try and
we went.
gaslight this man.
So if you are somebody who watches Impact who's listening to this, you're gonna watch tomorrow's episode because I know that next week's episode, I happen to know all of the matches that happen next week because I was there. I sit front row, hard cam, right there, right in the corner where the entrance ramps come down. I dapped up Mia Yim. I gave a hug to Carl Anderson. It was.
You
one of
probably
the
got
best
order
days
from
of my
Carl
life.
Anderson. He gave you the machine gun roller.
No, I did not. No, because you know why I know that that's not true is because we were still there in Orlando. You're supposed to go for day 2 for the tapings, and my wife was dead. She could not move. She couldn't get out of bed. She could not do anything. And I'm like, she was trying to muscle through it and go. And I I explained to her what sunk cost value is, and I can't do that. We have to go. She actually got it before I did, so she was way worse off Saturday than I was. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was a nightmare, and she was actually recovering. Now we're both doing okay. We're actually moving into next Friday. Anyway, it was not a great week for us. So thank you to everybody who reached out. I don't need you to reach out, please. I feel.
Who reached out to you? Ain't nobody tell you shit. Wait, what happened?
That's a lie.
There's a lot of people that.
Yeah.
Ain't this some shit?
You were one of. Yeah, you were one of them. You
Fuck
fucking
you.
reeking motherfucker.
Look at you being
listen,
racist.
I
Oh,
don't need,
wow. Oh,
Look at you being racist. Hoe ass nigga.
I don't need you. Yeah, see. Listen, we gave you, and when I say we, I mean OCW Collective, an excellent pay-per-view. This is one of the best pay-per-views we have had ever. I'm gonna say it right now.
Oh, shut up. God damn it.
Ever.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Every single match we went into, and especially you, Jason Clinton Sensation, especially with these gimmicks. You hit me with all these gimmicks, and I had no doubt.
Argued with me.
I did. I argued with every single.
You fucking
I
argued
said
with
this is
everything.
bullshit. I don't want Ashley Hardy a backstage brawl. I don't want any of this shit. And you said, nah, it's chaos. And they made it work to the point that they put together one of the best pay-per-views we have ever seen. And you know who put together a place that did that? You did. Look, we got 16 viewers now because I've been talking for too long.
No, it's not because you've been
Thank you,
talking for too long. Because we've been on with the algorithm and all
We
that
down this
shit.
bitch for a
We're
grip,
done
bro.
right. We're
Thank
closing
you.
thoughts. But yes, closing thoughts. And thank you for
That's
sticking with
all I
us.
got. Thank you, Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You fuck. I hope you feel better, asshole.
Hey, did anyone notice that Asylum stinger?
Asshole face.
Oh,
Yeah.
What is that about?
Oh,
What is that about?
that's-
Colin,
that's
what do you think
shithead.
that's about?
What?
Let's ask
got some
the
shit.
newest. Let's ask the person who knows the least about OCW lore. Colin, what do you think the Asylum stinger is about?
Oh man, that's the thing. I genuinely have no clue. I assume it's like a special one-off show that isn't in the Lucian thingy.
Absolutely incorrect.
Damn it.
Absolutely.
Oh, come on, shut up.
110%. No, it's
You're
just
leaving so much out.
I have no idea.
no. It's fine.
Yeah.
It was an old show that we had back when we had a million fucking shows. And fucking stupid face was like, how would you feel if I did a show? I was like, how about you ask and then we can go from
Bro,
there.
Why do you gotta
And-
even have that
Cause
attitude?
I'm tired of all you
motherfuckers.
What?
You know what's funny is I know who Stupid Face is. Like I know it's you, bro.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up. I'm just active,
My-
and overly informed.
my-
I'm reading shit.
My thing is I always prefer permission. I'm not the one that does permission.
And what
Then
happened?
what is it? I know you came in and you're like, oh,
Ask
you're
for
kind of grumpy.
forgiveness and Ask for
Yeah,
forgiveness.
yeah, that shit don't work with me. That
Well,
shit,
yeah,
that
'cause
shit.
you're-
So I said,
you're
hey,
sitting
just
there
ask,
sending
and then
me
you ask. I'm like, yeah, that's
periods
fine.
At the end of your sentences, like, damn, dog, don't be so mad at me. I'm just trying to.
Just
be
ask.
like, hey,
It's
boss,
easier. So
it's
yeah,
a
so
10-year anniversary
essentially,
coming up. What would happen?
yeah, it's 10 years roughly of Asylum, which is an old
Literally.
paper, which is an old show we used to have weekly that the fucking Parker Stevens used to love to GM because he for some reason liked Purple and Jail or whatever. I don't fucking know. But yeah, long story short, yeah, so we're gonna do that and I don't know, see what the fuck happens basically. So that's coming in June. something?
Man, why am I stupid face, bro? Come
June.
on.
Hey man,
June 14th.
June 14th.
Tuesday Night Asylum.
There you go. Tuesday Night Asylum, June 14th. Hopefully we
Jake,
get a bunch of
Jake,
extra
you like
views.
that acronym,
Tuesday
bud?
Night Asylum.
Yeah,
Yes.
you like that? Do you like the acronym though?
Oh no.
Tuesday Night Asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Tuesday Night Asylum.
Didn't I tell you
TNA,
Tuesday?
TNA.
Oh yeah, it is TNA. Ain't that a bitch?
I'll be in my new house by then.
Hopefully you won't get
it'll be a
Rona
good time.
in this one either. Hopefully.
Shut up, bitch.
Fuck you.
Well,
You
he's not
moving?
doing the
When you
commentary
moving?
for it, so he's fine.
When you
I'm
when
not
you
doing
moving?
commentary for you. I'm moving next Friday.
Oh,
actually.
wow.
Oh, shit.
God
Empty room.
damn,
I don't know.
damn.
I don't know if you could. I don't know if you could tell with my new mic, but this is like a completely empty room. I don't
Are
have
you
any
moving
of
in
my-
Florida? Or you moving to Kentucky?
No, I'm moving Florida.
Yeah.
It's right down the road.
Okay.
He's actually
It's a
moving to
new house.
Iowa.
I don't have to go. I don't have to go down the. I don't have to go up and down stairs anymore, which is nice because I'm out of shape.
Cause you keep falling downstairs and stuff. Is the bathroom at least bigger?
The battle.
Cause
That's
remember,
a weird question.
cause the
to
shower.
ask.
Cause remember, you're in the shower and you were over the shower.
Oh,
That
you're
was
too tall for your
Eight,
shower.
that was ages ago.
Oh,
I haven't
well,
been.
Look,
I
I'm old.
we went house shopping in like 2017 or like 2019 or whatever. This was years ago.
You know what?
And we went house
what?
shopping, and I was too big for the house that we were at. But I never bought that house. I've been fine with my shower.
Are you buying this place or no?
No, why would I buy anything?
I don't
Renting is
know,
the way to
Jake
go, baby.
Allen.
Don't buy stuff.
I'm
Let-
old
let-
and
let-
brain doesn't
Let me-
work.
That's okay. I know. You know, I'm not criticizing you at all, but I'm gonna press this to everybody. Don't buy a goddamn thing. Renting, way to go. You got people waiting on you hand and foot. You don't have to, like, you break your fridge. You don't have to buy that fridge. That's the fucking. That's the
property manager's responsibility.
That's the property manager's responsibility. Just rent everything you do. That's the new way to do things. You want to all these old motherfuckers want to tell you, oh, you're not putting this money into owning anything. Who gives a shit? Live your life, baby. You ain't got any time on this earth. Have a drink, rent your house, fuck your wife, and live
Smoke some
a
weed.
good time. Yeah, smoke some weed. I got a date with my my weed doctor on June 1st. It's gonna be a good time.
Congratulations.
Disclaimer,
Are you
this
gonna
does
be?
not
Are you
work
gonna
in
be
England.
available? Are you gonna be available for fucking next the commentary next week?
Holy shit, bro! Thursday we are doing a lot of moving, and I'll tell you what, Jason Sensation, I have explicitly made sure that the last thing that we're moving is my microphone and all of my computer stuff, so that we can call Turmoil for the next week on Thursday. We're gonna be all right.
That made me tear up.
I'll
a
be
little
back.
Bit. That made me tear up a little bit. I hate you, motherfucker.
I'll be all right, baby.
I hate
hey, and we didn't compliment Nick enough because
I
we didn't
complimented
compliment
him
Nick.
plenty. As a matter of fact, you made me bury Nick.
Yeah, you did. You
I
say
didn't bury
plenty. You
Nick.
say plenty. You say no. It's not about burying him. I'm saying we didn't.
I put him
God
over plenty.
damn,
He can't give
The motherfucker called 10 matches, and as a guy who has done 7 to 11 matches every paper 2018, I can tell you that shit is not easy. I am thrilled that I am thrilled that Nick pulled that off, and I am so happy that I had 1 month where I go into pay-per-view and my dick was hard as diamonds as I was watching every single. I was watching match after match. I didn't know the result. I never get that. It was
Jake.
it was phenomenal.
Don't forget, the week before, he commentated 8 other matches. Nick has
Bro,
literally
trust
within
me.
a 2-week span done almost 20 matches. That man's a stud. You and Jay
Trust me,
are
I know.
studs. I'm before, because I'm sure Jay's getting ready to want to leave because he's probably hungry. Long day. in
Call
the
me
office.
fat motherfucker.
No.
Yeah, you're calling you fat. Wow.
I will call you fat if I want to call you fat. I said you've had a long day in the office. Fuck you, Jake Allen. I hope you get released.
Can I get
But-
one? Hey, can I get one in here, Brian?
Yeah, go ahead.
I wish you and Nick were this committed when we tried to make a commentary committee.
know-
But you weren't, were you? That's why we had to
No.
relegate it to
No,
Jay and I,
yes,
because
yes,
we're the
yes.
only reliable motherfuckers in this business. Tap me up, Jason Sensation.
What are you talking about? Me and Nick show up every time we gotta show up. We're there. I did some solo comms. It's not my fault you tried to have 7 other people in there who were in all across the world.
I've done.
Posted it in the chat and I said, who can do this? And guess who did it more times than not? His name is Jake Allen. And
Of
then
course.
we just said, nah, you know what, Jason Sensation, let's just do it, you and me, because we're the only two. And Jay, thank you, because You never get any compliments.
I never do.
I know.
Never do.
I know how hard.
Never.
I know how hard it is
Never.
to render
Anything.
a paper.
No
I know
one.
how hard it is to render a pay-per-view's worth of matches
Not
in
a
2
word.
days.
Nothing.
And you did it this time. I didn't have to do a goddamn thing. I was on class.
And guess
So
what?
thank
The
you
matches
for
are higher
doing
quality too. They were better fidelity. God damn it. No one
Nah,
ever gives
no,
me
they
my
weren't.
flowers. Yes, they
Nah,
Even
fuck you.
though-
they were worse.
They-
I'll do them going forward.
Fuck
Damn,
you.
that's
Fuck
dirty.
your face. They
Even
were
though-
clinically
even
not
though you call
worse
them
because if you go by the bit rate and everything else, how fucking dare you, Jake Allen? Because when I asked you,
Nobody gives
hey,
a, nobody
modify
gives a
whatever,
fuck about the bit rate.
they do give a fuck
I
about
give
the
a fuck
bit
about
rate.
the bit rate.
Motherfucker.
I do
Nobody
the
gives
bit
a
rate.
fuck about the
I
bit
do
rate.
the bit rate that Jay tells me to do.
Fucking
Yeah, exactly. No, the people that are watching the Twitch stream, these 37 people, when you're nitpicking the bit rate, nobody gives a fuck about
They
that.
should give a fuck
can
about the
care-
bit rate.
It's
important.
They can care if they can you hear the commentary? Can you see the match? Those are the 2 things they care about. If you're spending any other time, you're wasting your fucking time.
You're an asshole. I'm glad you feel better, but
Well,
fuck your face.
That's
We're done.
true. It
Thank
is
you.
true.
Thank you.
We're
for
done
Jay.
here.
Thank you for
Thanks,
Sports is
listening.
back, baby.
Thank you for
We got
listening
it.
to us
OCW,
for
we on top.
for almost as long as the actual pay-per-view. I don't know how the fuck we do
No,
this.
we always sit there. Jay's always like, guys, we're gonna be really fucking.
Yeah, we're
quick."
gonna be
Because
short
that's
this time.
what happens with OCW content. It's so good that you just got to keep talking about it. Jay, thank you for
That's facts.
giving us the platform, especially even stupid faced McGee for giving me the platform and allowing me to have the
Jesus.
fun stuff that I can. You know, senior, junior staff member, advisor to the
Stop
second
calling
degree.
yourself staff.
Oh,
really-
Jesus.
I really appreciate you, Jay.
He
Jay,
has
I'm glad
a
to
hall
hear that
pass
you
like
and
I'm
family-
staff.
Of course, that's it.
I feel like
Perfect.
we should give Colin a send off.
Yes, Colin
hasn't
deserves a
talked for a
sell-out.
while.
Colin, I'm
Colin,
really
how
proud
do you
of all
feel
your
about
stories.
Colin? How do you feel about the state of OCW?
Terrible. I'm leaving.
Before you go,
Hollywood, too.
hold up. Before you go, Colin, I'm going to need those chants because you never gave us chants. We're going to Europe next in July, so we need some chants.
We are.
That stupid
Oh,
OCW
really?
chant I did with fucking the call creator thing, and it came out horrible. So I actually need actual chants.
It was all right.
It was okay,
all right.
but it sounds too like I tried to mess with it at the last minute, trying to get everything together. Like the tribulations of his pay-per-view, I didn't even mention, but there was a lot of struggle. There was supposed to be 2 resolution things, but I couldn't get the other one finished, and it made me so fucking angry. But this one was Game of Thrones-ish. I don't fucking know, but yeah, we need some chants, buddy. We need a couple olays. We need something. I don't know. If you want a list, I get you a list and you can go into the goddamn lab. But yes, thank you, Colin, for showing up. I appreciated your perspective on the silly shit that we do in this fucking weird Dungeons and Dragon-esque wrestling hobby that we do. And I also appreciate everybody who's been sitting here listening to us. Because a few fucking people, too. It's been quite a lot of motherfuckers listening to this horse shit. Ain't this about a bitch? Fuck you, algorithm.
But yeah, if we're going to Wembley, you're going to need some actual English chants. None
Yes.
of this fucking.
Yes.
This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Nope, we need a couple.
crap.
Yep. We need
Oh, man,
like
we're gonna-
we need a hey, we want some Rusty. We need what else
We're
we
gonna
want?
get one fall.
We need the
every
one fall. We
match.
need hey, we need hey, we want some Rusty. We need some olays. We need some really androgynous fucking
Corky,
football chants that I will never understand. I don't fucking know. Maybe we need a sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit chant. I don't know. We need a couple things. We need a lot. We're gonna need a lot of European based chants, and we're gonna need
Colin,
every
look up
American
the
to be
Tommy
booed.
Aspinall chant.
The what, sorry?
Da 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 da, Antonio. Da da da
Oh,
da,
God.
Antonio.
Antonio.
Da 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 da.
What's wrong with androgynous? Is that the wrong word? Fuck you too, Bella. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I'm aggressive right now. I'm just angry.
Oh my god.
I don't know what to say anymore.
Yeah,
All right,
I mean,
go ahead.
I love the fact that for Lucian, it's looking like if this all happens, I'll have to just sit in my vocal booth, just put my head in the box, and just shout about 50 takes of just everything. It's just gonna be
warrior.
me in the background of the Tony Everett match going, "Where's your shoes, mate? Where's your shoes?" Just like me doing that 80 times. I'm gonna come into the VP on Lucian.
With
I'm
no
gonna be
voice.
shell shocked. It's gonna be like Vietnam
help you.
flashbacks while all this shit's going on.
Where's your shoe, mate?
Vietnam.
Where's your shoes, mate? Oh my god. Or who are you, Chad?
Who are you? Who are you? Yeah.
Jay,
Yeah.
What?
Jay, before we go,
What? What?
That's Victor
and I
Carmine's
need
shout.
you to- and I need you to close the stream before any follow up is asked to this question.
Sure.
Who is Drago Caesar fighting at Resolution 16?
That's gonna be it for us.
It's me.
We'll see.
No, you gotta answer it. No.
Ban him. Ban Colin. Ban the cooldown, man. Ban him.
The only person he's fighting.
God damn it.
There is absolutely no one. I don't know. I'm not trying to. There is no interest.
No, he's working you. He's working you,
He's not
fans.
working anything, son.
You're
If
right.
you-
You're not capable of working anybody.
Fuck you.
Oh wow. Oh,
You
wow,
need
that's
Spider
crazy.
to do that.
Fuck you.
Oh, wow.
You see how he's trying? The only way you'll see Drago if he does guest commentary for one of my matches if I show up again.
He's gonna put himself
just-
in the main event.
At this point, it's
like
gonna
a
be me
true Fed head.
fighting actually Jake Allen in fucking at Resolution
No,
in the
I'm
main event
not,
of night
for
two.
his contract.
I'm
Oh my
not
God.
selfish enough to put myself in a match at Resolution.
Oh, you're not? Oh,
Ought to be treated as people.
fuck you. God damn
Yeah,
it.
you get it. You understand because you did.
Oh, you.
I have to explain my own insult to you. That's
walked
crazy.
right into that one.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Drago,
Thank you.
Drago.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to our horseshit. We appreciate you greatly. This has been myself, L. Bryan, the OCW champion, Colin Locke, a.k.a. Daniel, Jake, the non-Rona Snake Allen, and myself, JCS. Thank
Hello.
you.
Thank you so much for everything. I hate this place with every fiber of my being. I'm going to
That's
probably
why.
fall asleep now. The web show can go up tomorrow. I don't care. I'm done with everything. I'm going to go play Deep Rock Galactic and have a sandwich.
You deserve to have fun.
I
Yeah, it's a solid
deserve
shout.
so much more, and I hate all of you people so much.
That's a lie. That's a lie. You're
So
lying.
much. Have a
You
wonderful
love this
evening.
place.
God bless. Good night. I hate this place.